What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. It's HUD Wednesday nights. Eagles, Cowboys, we'll talk about it. Has your, you know what, moved it all for it? Let's talk about it.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our doc. Make them yours. Dr. Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, located in Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Obviously not Wednesday. That was yesterday, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Today's Thursday, but we're still here. Can we come to you every goddamn week? Sorry, I was over here going live, but then I can't find us live on Facebook, so I was just confused. So I got lost. I lost my words, but the Sixers didn't get lost. We'll talk about that. The Christmas miracle. What a present to open up, baby. What a present to open up. We're so back, and we're so ready to get hurt, and I'm here for it all. I'm here for the roller coaster. I love it. I love it. I can't wait for this train to go off the tracks and it come burning down. I'm here for every second of it. Eagles, Commanders, we'll give our final thoughts on that game. We'll dive into that a little bit. Talk about playoff, possible matchups, etc. That really dive deep into this game, right? Where we're talking about there's no juice. There's no juice. And has your dick even moved for it? Honestly, like a centimeter. It's Eagles Cowboys week. Like seriously, think about it. It's Eagles Cowboys week for the division. All the things that ride on it. Clinch a playoff spot. Get a week 18 bye, which is so needed for everybody on this football team since they haven't had one in a year. Okay? So we need it. We need it, and it hasn't even moved for it. I'm more energized about Joe getting hurt again than I am about this matchup right here. No Jalen. Okay, cool.
Yeah, potentially.
Loaded box. You can count Dickerson's record out the window. You know what I mean? And was a defensive fluke. So, I mean, was that a fluke? I think it is. I think what we watched was a fluke with no CJ. I think he's that important in your secondary when McDuffie or McDoof or whatever the hell his name is, you probably should never be allowed to play ever. I don't know how you can't have a better backup, right? But
I met him. Nice guy.
Good guy? I'm a good guy?
Good guy.
All right, then I'm apologetic.
Girlfriend was nice. Girlfriend was nice. Nice girlfriend. Yeah.
Girlfriends don't win football games.
They don't. They don't. They do not.
You hate to hear that he's nice. You hate to hear that he's nice. Good guy can even be better. You know what I mean? Now I'm rooting for you. Shit. Okay. Either way, my juices haven't flowed at all. Your guys haven't either, it sounds like. But right in our poll, the Eagles will beat the Cowboys with or without Jalen Hurts on Sunday. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live everywhere you get your podcasts. We're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. Most importantly, join the conversation. Yeah, I agree. For a lot of reasons. Well, mainly one. No CD. That's huge, right?
Yeah,
so
that came down today.
Like Cooper Rush playing better since we saw him first time out, right? Guys are usually always going to play a little bit better than they did the first time. And now you got to hope Kenny's the same way, right? And you would hope he can be better. And he wasn't bad either. I mean, Devontae catches the ball. We'll talk about all that. But we need Kenny. Will Kenny be better this week? I think he will, right? A little bit more comfortable, etc. And their defense isn't good. Like, nothing's good about them. And this is here. This is here. You know what I mean? We have one injury. We have one major injury. And that's Jalen Hurts' concussion, right? And if he plays, yeah, I definitely believe we win. And if he doesn't, I definitely believe we win. That's probably why he's not playing. Because they're looking at they got 2 weeks to play around with it. I don't like that. I don't watch your mouth because I don't like that. But we don't got 2 weeks to play around with it. We got 1 week to get it done. We don't want to be going in to the Meadowlands week 18 and having to play guys for no reason or for a reason, but against a team that you should be able to be with practice squad guys. We don't want that. Get it over this week. I'm not a big bye guy, but we had ours like week 4 or 5 or week 5, right? That's so long ago.
Yeah.
You know, the COVID's got a little nicked up a little bit. He wanted to practice yesterday. If they did, he practiced today. So I want to get healthy, but I Cowboys. All that being said, even without Jalen, Cowboys aren't as good as us. So I agree. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I agree to the poll as well. I mean, I think you're right. I think just defensively, you could see what it's like, what this team looks like, and we saw with Avonte Maddox too when CJ got hurt previously. The center of the field is wide open with his defense, so we definitely need him on the field. And I do. I think it was a little more of an aberration. I thought Kenny played pretty well, and especially all things considered, knowing that he had a bit of a rib injury in that game as well. There were moments where it was a little bit of a struggle, right? And obviously the defense can zero in on Saquon then. But I think a week of preparation makes it a little bit easier too. I think Kenny's going to have a little bit of more rapport with the wide receivers. I think this. I'm not as jazzed up as we would normally be for an Eagles-Cowboys week. I'm more interested in at some point having the conversation if Saquon does rip off 190 yards in this game, do you play him in week 18 and give him a shot at that record? That's a conversation for another time. But I think this is I think they shut the door in the division. They already got the playoff clinched. You want to try to lock in that 3 seed. So, I think this will be
3 seed. It would be the 2 seed.
This will be a game.
Yeah,
it'll be a game they'll win.
2
seed.
seed.
We're the 2 seed. Yeah, we'll be the 2 seed no matter what.
Yeah.
There's
right.
Yeah.
Lock in the 2 seed. Sorry.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird with just one team getting the bye.
It's because obviously because the other two are in the same division, right? So one bumps back to like the
the
5th seed.
Potentially have a better record, but
guy fighting to get in. Guys,
exactly.
Fighting to get in. Crazy.
Yeah, the news coming down of CD being out was a bit scumbaggish today, right? We had 3 games go off. If you're in a fantasy championship, you had 3 games go off, and CeeDee Lamb's in your lineup, and probably Xavier Worthy's not in your lineup. Hi,
me.
That's me.
No way,
you
do? No way,
too.
You do? We're both in it. Oh my
God! 3 wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, and Nico Collins, right? So Worthy's not starting over any one of them. And then CD gets called out today. Like, come on, you scumbags.
Listen, my wide receiver room's so good that I got Jameson Williams on the bench, and I just subbed CD out for Jameson Williams. That's how good that's how deep I am. I got CD, Devontae. I got Smith and Jigma. I got them all. I got everybody you want. I got. That's why we're still playing. That's why we're here. You make mistakes but when you're that deep.
Such a terrible timing for that, right? Like terrible timing for the decision. But I agree that
typical Jerry.
The game potentially could have been close if CD plays, right? Just because that's how special he is. Regardless of who's throwing the football, the 5 of us could throw the football to CD, and he'd still probably put up 100 yards. You know what I mean? So, without that, though, I still think the Eagles win. I don't think it might be coverable just because Kenny might play, but Eagles win.
I'm going to agree. I'll say Eagles win as well. And the number 1 rule in fantasy, you don't draft Cowboys, you don't draft 49ers. I'm never rooting for them. Screw them. So I'm not surprised. They do this stuff all the time. Debo, CD, they're frauds. They're great talents they're just frauds. Crybaby Lions, they've won
Debo this year too. Yep.
Debo's the same way.
CD's a stud. I can hate the Cowboys and just be like, I like that guy. You know what I mean?
I was ready to amputate my leg to get him on the team when he was ready to get drafted. I was locked in with the highlights and everything. I was in. He was the guy.
The 2 phone move was the greatest line of all. Like the 2 phone move on draft night. His chick grabs the other phone. He's like, "No, give me that back. You don't touch my phone."
Yeah, that was great.
I'm going to say Birds win. Barkley goes nuts, obviously. And I actually don't think if we do win, Barkley will play for the record. Just because, I don't know. I don't see it happen unless he's like that close. Like, I just don't see it. I think he wants to win,
right? He needs like
130 each game.
130 each. With Jalen playing, I don't think that's far.
Right? I agree.
If Jalen's playing, I think he's got a chance. But with no Jalen, I just think you load boxes and
Yeah.
in a 2-game stretch, like everybody's going to load the box. So,
yeah.
And they're going to say, well, we're not going to let you beat us. I don't see how he gets it. Unless, listen, the dude's a freak, right? I mean, he's 2 80-yard runs away from being in the conversation. That's how I've said it. I've said that. I've said that every week. So who knows?
I feel like we've watched Dallas this season, though, stack the box on other teams and still get run over. Like, I feel if he gets within 100, if he gets within 90 to 100 yards, they're going to give him the shot for the following week.
No, I think he needs to be. I think if he goes, how about this? If he's under 100 yards going into the last game, they may give him a run at it. If he's 100 or if he's like 110 or 120, they might not do it.
Play him the first quarter, see what he does. If he's not getting any traction, then they could sit him the rest of the game.
Yeah, but is anybody else playing? Is my question. Like Brown sitting, Devontae Smith sitting.
I think they would start at least the offensive line would have to start to give him a chance at that.
Honestly, I think he might even opt to not play. Coming from himself, knowing him and watching him from 2016 all the way to Penn State till now, it'd be very much like him to say, we saw it in New York. If he stayed in that Giants game way back when, we're talking way different. He probably is 30, 40 more yards. That range is way lower. He might even be on a clear pace to get it. Yeah. And he said, no, let Kenny go eat.
I think if he gets to 2,000 yards, right, that's an accomplishment. Only 4 guys have ever gotten to 2,000.
Well, if he gets, what is it, 2021? What is the record? Something like that?
It's either 2104 or 2105 is the record. I think it's 2104.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it going either way.
He's worried about this.
2K's fun, and so is that. Yeah, I mean, so is the Jules. You know what I mean? Yeah, shit like this.
2105.
You know what I mean? Shit like this is why you play it. You know, shit like this. You know, you want to put these kinds of fucking things on. You know,
this guy just has a ring just sitting there.
Well, I got a ring case up here. That's what happens when you win a lot of games, Greg. All right, you go to what you fucking do. This is the shit that happens.
My ring's in storage.
I'm blessed. That's what everybody says. Right? Everybody says, they're getting interviewed. I'm blessed. By everybody around me. I'm blessed.
Everyone's
by everybody around me. I didn't do any work for nothing. I'm blessed because of everything else. Just saying, everybody's done a lot of work. You win rings, everybody does a lot of work. It ain't one guy pony or one trick pony. I don't know what the hell we're talking about, but we're going rings. What are we even talking about rings for? Oh yeah, Saquon. Yeah. So we all agree to the poll. I mean, this is poll was written pre-CD.
You're the better team. It's not even debatable. Not even close.
I do believe, though, a big factor in this game is going to be special teams. As dumb as it sounds, our punter.
Yeah, well, of course it will. Fucking field goal.
He's getting killed. I mean, they had the ball. Commanders had the ball at midfield every possession. It felt like.
I saw today that Jake Elliott was taking kickoff reps in practice today. Don't understand why he's not taking them in general. Don't get that.
Receiving them?
No, he was taking them off.
You know what though, Luke? It's
no. You know what? It's the old motto. No, it's the old motto as a hitter. Like, go swing from the other side, and then come back, and then you'll realize how good you are. Right?
Yeah.
Like, go receive some kickoffs. Right? Have some go off your fucking forehead, Jake, and then come back, kick some field goals. You realize how good you are, and your confidence will be back.
No, we're talking about just kicking the ball off and
I know
not being let off on bad field. I mean, that was a joke. I think that honestly was the game. If you was
driving, was there that much wind? Was there that much wind, or was
there was
in there.
On either side. The wind was definitely a factor. But I think that was honestly the game.
You're right. Because if one guy gets it in and one guy doesn't, right? Depending on when you're tuning into the show, that can sound right. But if one guy doesn't kick it into the end zone, and the other guy does, now I'm coming firing at him.
Yeah.
Right? I'm firing at him being a reason we lost the team, but nobody was all day. So I wasn't outside. So I can sit at home and be like, oh, let's go. But dude, when it's 25 out, like that thing's like a brick. It's like a brick wall. Hit the ball though. You know what I'm saying?
And I wonder too with Jake, he's always been so good and he's always taking kickoffs. Now with the new rules, we came in here and Nick tried to get cute and didn't put Jake on kickoffs. And now all of a sudden, Jake looked like he's washed. I wonder if there's any correlation to that, like not being able to get going, like even just kicking kickoffs gets his body moving, gets him flowing. I don't know. I wonder if he does take him this week, if that shows any correlation into getting him back, because he's struggled mightily. Now, granted, he hit the big one this week, right, which is the last one and the only one that truly matters is your last one. But I wonder if that brings him back to some sort of normality with him.
Just finding the ball again.
Yeah, just finding the ball, right? Like it's a layup, right? Like, how we talk with shooters. You can't find a basket, get to the hole, get to the layup, get to the free throw line.
It happens daily in our own house. You know what I mean? It's consistent. I might make the far away shot from on the Fisher Price scoreboard net, right? And then I'm like, let me just go in for an easy one, and then we can go back to being Steph in his prime. Right? And it's so factual. It's factual. And then you're on it. Then you're on it for an extra 2 or 3 minutes because you can't end without a swish.
Yep.
Because I'm a psycho at 42.
Oh, you got to.
There's no reason to still be a psycho, but I'll be a psycho still at 42 on a goddamn Fisher Price net in a playroom. I mean, grow up, Peter Pan. Grow up. But, I'm in it. All right.
I mean, in terms of the kickoff, though, most teams are treating it like a punt because they're trying to really designate it back into that corner by the pylon. So it's not really – it's not a kickoff. Teams are really trying to more so punt the ball off the tee anyway.
Why doesn't everybody just squib it with the new rules? Like, try it out. Test it out. See what happens. Ball bounces off a guy's face. Everybody's flying down. Ball. Like, I don't know. We're talking kickoffs. We're talking Jake Elliott, 16-44 into a shot.
I mean, I will be honest, though. I really do believe that had more than a factor in the game. I think they win the game if that doesn't happen.
No. Yeah,
I agree.
That's what I was bringing up for the Cowboys. Like, I think, this
Luke
could be a slap fest. If Pickett and Cooper Rush are going head-to-head, that's why there's no juice. Like, if this is going to be a slap fest, it's going to come down to special teams and the little things, the minute details that's going to win this game.
And their return Turpin can do some things.
Yeah, get it. Do not kick the ball to him. He's fast as hell.
Yeah, I'm not concerned even a little bit. You could talk about special teams. You could talk about the guy riding the golf cart, bringing guys in, security teams. I don't give a shit. Like, it's not. There's nothing that worries me this week. That's why there's no juice. There's no juice because I'm not concerned. Like, it's hard to get up for any team when I'm not worried about you.
Yeah, it's also hard to get up for Kenny Pickett and Cooper Rush. I mean, the average fan's not watching that.
But I can get up for Kenny when everybody else is playing, though. Like, because there's a lot more reasons for me to get up. Make sense? But when the team stinks and they got one player coming to town, they literally got one guy coming to town fighting for their lives. That's Micah Parsons. One player. And the 22 that are going to play on the field. I'm not worried. There's no juice.
I mean, listen.
There we go.
I mean, Kenny's won games in this league, too, with a lot less offensively.
I have a little juice
with Pittsburgh. So, I mean, I think he should be fine. Again, another whole week of preparation, working with the first team, I think will make a big difference here as well. So,
normally that would probably be a good thing, Carl, but this week with Christmas has been a very odd week because he was also dealing with his own injury with ribs, right? Mm-hmm. So on Tuesday, how much did he actually? I think he was limited himself in practice on Tuesday. They didn't actually practice yesterday.
Yeah, he was a full participant today,
and he was full today. Yes, but it's like. Normally,
AJ Brown was limited today, though, too.
Yeah, that's normal, right? But normally, from your point, as a backup, you normally have a whole week. This week is obviously strange with Christmas being yesterday. They didn't actually practice, so it was. We'll see. Hopefully, he's better. It was tough to judge. Like I said, I was driving during the game, so it was tough to judge between Merrill and Mike how good or bad he really was.
He wasn't bad. Who are we talking about? Kenny? He
Kenny.
was like on and off. He had some good throws. He had some bad throws. He had some just not feeling the pocket, right? Not playing for a minute, some of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, he put a ball in the hands to win the game. Oh, my God, that's my son. You know what I mean? And that's why we lost the game. Nothing else is why we lost the game. Like, I don't even, don't revisionist history me. I agree with those types of statements if it's a fumble or if it's like an interception, right? But it's like when it's 101 and it walks the game off and it's from a guy that is as sure-handed as him or he wouldn't be playing at his size.
Yeah.
Like it's an
2
easy
games
one.
this year, by the way. 2 games that if 2 catches are made, the game you're looking at a 1-loss
From superstars.
Yeah,
From
like
superstars.
big money.
We're not talking Kenny Gainwell and Johan Dotson.
And
Right?
Saquon
Like-
isn't even as egregious as this.
And he dropped one. He dropped one last week too.
Yup, big one.
Yeah,
The
big one.
Too.
Yeah.
Saquon
Yeah.
isn't even as egregious as this because he's a damn running back, right? I mean, Devontae.
He's never been great at catching the ball.
I know his truths. You know what I mean? But Devontae, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And
Greg, I feel so bad for you that you had to listen to Merrill on the radio. Like I love Merrill to death, but the
He's
advertisements too.
He's
The
losing.
But the ads on the radio, it's unbelievable to be like. I can give you an example right now. Eagles with the Bora Hart Lug Center, Mike the Eagles,
Yeah.
and then he says nothing. It's just like Hurts. He's back. He's looking. He steps up. He fires. Incomplete. And that pass was brought to in part by the Bora Hart Lug Center, presented by PNC Bank. Make you see the day on 94 WIP.
That was good.
And you got nothing. And you literally got nothing. Like
nothing. You don't know where the ball's at.
Didn't know where it was. Left hash, right
Nothing.
hash.
Nothing. This was like 2 years ago. I started to feel it, right?
Yeah.
About 2 years ago. I didn't want to say it because he's such a legend, you know?
Because he's a legend,
Yeah, it's hard to bring it up. But like over in this fall when I listened to him, I was like, dude, it's time.
Yeah.
I was coming home from a game and he was on, and it was a good one. It was in those first like 4 weeks where games were like it was reckless, right?
Yeah.
And he was horrible. Like I had no idea where the ball was, the score. I didn't even know anything. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know nothing. No, but it was bad, sadly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is.
That's what happens, you know. That's what happens,
same
you
for
know?
you. Like, Brown to the far side, Smith to the near side. Hurts. He's back.
And then there was a few times, I think the Saquon drop was one of them. They were blocked out from that side of the sideline. So he's just like, well, Mike, I can't see what's going on down there. We're blocked out. Mike Quick had to come and save the day.
Yeah, Mike Quick says like the most like random obvious things. Like Saquon really had the feet churning. They were turning. I'm like, yeah.
I wonder if
Don.
I wonder if Johan is slipping Merrill some money to get him some love on the air, because every time like they're struggling, Merrill's like, Mike, do you think we should get Johan Dotson more involved? And I'm like, what are we doing right now?
It's not even like
it's Kenny Pickett. It's Kenny Pickett, and we got AJ and Devontae. Like we're good with those two.
And
Mike,
like,
and Mike will go, oh, well, Grant Calcaterra is doing really good things out there too. And I'm like, come on, boys, what are we doing here?
And it's not even that he's like losing it, because I know he is, and he's a legend, and I love him. But it's all the advertisements too at every play. It's like you can't just like listen to the game. It's like the red zone is the Bora Hart Lug Center. The freaking every time they get a first down, it's presented by PNC Bank. Make today the day. It's like, dude, I just want to know what's going on the field. You know what I mean? It's the advertisement. They just shove the paper right in his face.
You're right. You're right.
It's like
no, it's literally you see the guy behind him. It's always behind him. Yeah.
There's a brawl going.
Like
CJ Gardner Johnson just got ejected. He's like PNC Bank.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
God.
I'm going off the rails.
Well, that's brutal too. We could listen. I'll just give a prediction of this game real quick, and we'll give our players of the game. That's brought to you by. I'm just kidding.
The doc.
But score. I think it's a roll job. I'm gonna go 35-14. 35-14, and just where I'm here, because I don't think anybody else is going to do it. Kenny Pickett's player of the game. He's going to throw for over 300.
Holy whoa!
3 touches.
Kenny Foles.
Wow. For over 300.
Kenny Foles.
Whoa.
Are you sure Kenny Foles?
Kenny
No,
Foles.
I don't think Kenny Pickett. I don't think he's any good. But I just their pass defense. Their pass defense is atrocious too. So they're not just atrocious in the run game. They're not good back there either. And with our show ponies, I think they go off. I think the guys go. I think the kids go off. I don't think he's my player of the game because he's distributed it. You know what I mean? That's
Listen to this. Kenny Pickett's career high in 2022 in Buffalo. I don't know when the game was, but in October, mid-October in Buffalo, 327.
Yeah, small hands.
Yeah, but what the running back have? Because Barkley ain't gonna sniff 120.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say to you guys. This is the reason why. In none of those places did he ever have the services of what he has.
Oh wait, caveat. They lost 38-3. So
yeah, well they stink. They he stinks. They stink. In no way, shape, or form, Mike, creating a quarterback controversy over what I'm saying. That's not what I'm doing. I think Kenny Pickett stinks. I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. But he's a first-round talent to people, right? That's all I'm saying. And every blind squirrel finds a nut. He's finding his this Sunday at 1 o'clock. The blind squirrel finds a nut because look who he's throwing the football to. I'm 42. If you give me time, I might be able to throw for – I need a lot of time. A lot of time. A lot of things need to go right, but maybe at least 200.
Wow.
A lot of things need to go right, Luke.
I was expecting like a 75 from you.
Yeah, I just need like 6 or 7 seconds per drop back. And just you can't hit me. I'm wearing a red jersey. I mean, if you hit me, you guys are out. You're out like CJ, GJ. You're gone for talking. You don't have to talk to me.
Yeah, no, yeah. I find it hard to believe that they can score 30 points with Kenny Pickett. So I got Birds winning comfortably, though. I'm going to say 24-10. The defense is still going to be on the field. At the end of the day, they're still going to have their defensive starters. And that, to me, is going to – I mean, it's Cooper Rush. That's it.
They still have their offensive starters. That's why they can score 35. Because it's not just, we're scoring 5 touchdowns. I'm thinking there's a defensive score or there's a couple turnovers down in that zone, make things a little bit more easy. But I do think he throws for – all right, if I don't say 300, I'll say 280, right? 283. Does that make everybody feel better?
Listen, if he's throwing the ball that efficiently, I think that's more so going to open the run game, which makes me more confident that Saquon might rip off 160, 170 yards in this game.
I want that more.
So I could see Kenny, if he's slinging it good, he's going to get a 200-yard passing day. And that, to me, is going to be more than enough to open up the run game. So, I mean, for me, I'm going Saquon here. I think Saquon, this is one of the worst rushing defenses in the league. They can't defend the pass. And if Kenny can throw 200 yards in this game, Saquon's going to rip 150 yards in this game. I'm going 152 TDs for Saquon.
Kenny Big Dick Pickett.
Big Dick Pickett.
Small hands.
Small hands. Guys, I mean, imagine drafting a guy that has to wear a glove.
I was going to say, the only thing to take away from that game is that the Steelers are morons. I mean, what the hell were they thinking?
No,
that was the only thing to take away from that.
I like that, too. Like Saquon. Another reason I'm taking it because I like where Chrome's going. Another reason I'm going a different angle is because I want him to get at least a 2K. Right? I don't need him to break the record, but 2K is fun. Like Mike said, that's enough, too. Like, you know what I mean? Cool. Let's go get a ring. Go ahead, Greg.
Let's go.
Your merge shirt.
Yeah, the merge shirt. Mom came in big for Christmas.
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it.
I might come down next year.
Let's go 31-17 Birds. I will go Devontae Smith and Ed Reed Blankenship.
We're on defense, too. I like your style. Get it done with. Get it over with. All right. I like it.
This reminds me of the Saints game. Like, this reminds me of a sloppy, like, that game we won 15-12, which if you predicted that score beforehand, you probably looked at it like you were nuts. I think it's going to be a weird score like that. Like 18-9. Like some weird ass score. Like I don't know. Get the bingo card out, throw a dart and hit it. But it's going to be under 20 points. I don't think either team scores 20 in this one.
I think you're out of your mind.
I just think the defense is like our defense is that good, and Cooper Rush stinks. Yeah, and if we run the football, the clock's just going to run. Like we're really good. Like that 10-minute drive we did in the fourth quarter a couple weeks back.
We got 4 10-minute drives in us.
I don't think we have 4 of them.
Well, I mean, it was scoring. Like, I don't know. Listen, I know the loss of Jalen kills us, right? But like, you can't just look at that just last week. Like, you got to give a guy a week to breathe now. Like, he took a hit again in the NFL, right? He saw the speed again. Like, that shit matters. Like, he's got such weapons. It has nothing to do with him. I'm not saying he's Jalen because he couldn't replicate it week after week. He couldn't. He cannot. That's why he's not a starter anymore. There's a reason. The reason guys are backups. That's why he's a backup. And so I'll say it again. There's no controversy. But against a bad defense, there's no reason that he can't come out and spin it around the yard a little bit and look like, oh, and you're going to get a bunch of losers. I know this goes, guys. We've been around long enough. Mike, Luke, I know you guys a little younger, right? A little longer in the tooth up at the top here, right? What we're gonna poke you with down there is like you can smell the controversy come from a mile away, like
Love
from
a backup
morons.
quarterback.
Yeah, like we'll go spin it, throw for 3 tutties, no picks. Hey, anybody can do it. Like anybody can. Okay. All right. He won't do that week in, week out. He's the same guy who'll probably go throw 2 picks in New York. That'll probably happen too. So, all right. I don't know where I'm going with all that.
No. It'll be a Mike McMahon type of reaction, right? Like going way back. Mike McMahon, Jeff Garcia, even Nick Foles, right?
We're just letting a lot of guys out.
The city loves to back a backup quarterback.
Not this guy.
Yeah.
Not him. I think this guy is an anomaly. He can't throw the ball down the field. He can't. He's never been able to do it.
So
and I don't understand.
Throw it down the field, right? Like,
but I mean, if you look in Pittsburgh right now, and it's kind of a bad time to bring it up because they look pretty bad right now. But
it's the best
before that, I mean, they never threw the ball down the field at all last year. Albeit they were down in all these games too. They still never. He's never been able to throw the ball down the field ever. Yeah, so I'm going 23-7. I think I'm not even giving an offensive player of the game. I think Zach Bond is going to be all over the field. They'll score 1 touchdown, make us feel a little bit scared for a second, and we'll dominate the rest of the game on the ground, whatever. This guy stinks. Kenny Pickett stinks. And it has nothing to do with what I saw last week. I said that when we traded for him. I said it when he played for Pitt. I said it when he was going in the draft. And I'm telling you right now, he stinks. He can't throw the ball down the field. That was the difference in the game, period. Because we, outside of a few times like that one to Saquon, we never threw the ball down the field outside of those bailout pass interferences, which he underthrew every single time. So he can't throw the ball down the field. It takes away from it completely. I'm not a fan of the guy at all, and I just know that this team we're good enough to win this game, and that really is all that matters. But he stinks.
I hated it too. I'm right with you, Luke. And honestly, I didn't think I'd hate a backup more than move for a backup more than a.
I'm fully with you. Yes.
Here we are. Like
I think Tanner McKee might be better.
Tanner McKee is better.
He is.
I don't know why he doesn't play. I don't get it. If Kenny Pickett's not going to give you anything on the ground, why not put in the guy that's going to at least push the ball down the field?
I would much rather have McKee playing in this game.
Me too.
That's another thing. Why is your backup quarterback not doing anything on the ground in this system?
Yeah, like that's where it went away. Like, why are we not RPOing with him? Why is he not using his legs? That's another reason why he got drafted where he was, is because his mobility. It wasn't because of all the arm strength and he's Justin Herbert. It was because
that's why they were able to shut the offense down, because
it's like,
he wasn't running an RPO. So everything was design runs.
Some guys need
wait for the design run and stack the box.
Yeah, it was weird. And you never put the running back behind the quarterback in a shotgun formation ever. That's like recipe for disaster because your running back can't see. So like there was some of that shit going on. There was some like weird looking, not our typical style of stuff. But that being said, I hated him come in college. I didn't like him coming out of college. Once he's fake slit, I didn't like him even more. And then
he wears 2 gloves.
2 gloves to like turn me off, because I remember back then people were like, "Oh, we should draft Kenny Pickett." I'm like, no, anybody but Kenny Pickett. The guy didn't want him. So like understand like where I'm coming from when I say for him throw for 280 and all this is because I'm not letting off the big dogs in my offense. I'm not letting them off the hook. There's too much talent. The offensive line's intact. Like blind squirrels find nuts in this league. Guys have good games. I think he has one because of that. And he stinks. But he'll stay in the league for 5 more years because of this game. Watch.
Yeah.
He played good enough. He played good enough for us to. Yeah, I think we'll probably. There's no chance he's on the team next year. Personally, I don't see that. He's an Eagles fan. I think that was probably the main reason. How he's like, oh, he's a local kid. Let's bring him in. But if you really think about it, they went up 14-0 in this game, albeit he played well enough to win the game with Devontae had the ball in his hands. I understand that. They're up 14-0. He comes into this game. The only other time that they really pushed the ball down the field and had success at scoring the ball was when he underthrew A.J. Brown by 3 to 5 yards and Lattimore reached and they called a bailout PI. Outside of that, we never threw the ball down the field. And it looks way different. I mean, we're wasting our time talking about this for this long, but he stinks.
Yeah. And though it's risky, I'm surprised. This is like in the NBA with like flops to get to the free throw line. I'm surprised teams don't do this more often. Like if you have one-on-one and your receiver is going to be in front, like why not just underthrow everything?
Underthrow the guy.
Because it's like an automatic PI. Like if he gets a step or two behind him because he knows it's going to be that underthrown and the corner can't come back and get it, just run right into the corner. Like it's literally an automatic PI. You can just flop every time.
Yeah, I thought he did some good things in the Washington game. And I thought there was like you said, balls that were bad, etc. But like he's okay. Like it's like as your backup. Like again, as a backup on my team, I'm like, man, I don't care. Right? He's serviceable. Maybe he can go win you a game. Look, right? Like maybe he can be good enough to win you a game type guy. And then there's this type of offense that's around guys. Like if you're serviceable, you should be able to be like good playing with these guys. You should be able to be good. You know,
and like,
but we also know I take nothing away from Jalen. Like Jalen's awesome and does a lot of things awesome to help this offense, and we know what those things are. We don't have to get into that tonight. If you have eyeballs, you saw it last Sunday from the first quarter when he was playing to when he didn't anymore. We're the best rushing team in football when Jalen Hurts is on the field because of his ability and because of how he opens up Saquon even more. Like that's it. We've always said it since training camp. Like he put Saquon on steroids. A healthy Jalen Hurts put Saquon on steroids. And
AJ Brown. AJ Brown.
Yeah.
There's no explosive play. The key to our offense, it's not a secret. It's explosive plays. We're not getting that with Kenny Pickett. That's all I'm saying. That's why I think it's going to be a field position game, 23-7. They score one time, and it's just dominant. And plus, you got to think
we're a slant away from explosive, Ben.
Yeah, I mean? You're right. Like, you're right. You're right.
We're a stiff arm away from a little child trying to play secondary against a grown man from a 65-yard play, where a Saquon missed tackle against a bad defensive team, right? From a 70-yard run. There's a wide open Devontae Smith down the sideline for a 50-yard touchdown. Like there's, you know what I mean? They're bad. They're bad because of the loss of CeeDee. The loss of CeeDee makes them really bad now.
All right, well, how about this? Ready for the city to fall apart once we give up 25-27 against these guys?
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
It's like Mariota wasn't the best here, don't get me wrong. And I know we have a brand new roster. I'm not saying bring Mariota back. I'm saying I like the thought of having a running quarterback as your backup quarterback that can run the same system and the same offense because we're not doing these RPOs. That's like our bread and butter. Kenny Pickett on an RPO, no one's scared of Pickett running. Like I know he can, but no one's scared of it.
Yeah, I need like a Tower Hunley. I need a guy. Like I need a
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, I need a Tyrod Taylor type. I need somebody who can use their legs. And I think they expect that from Kenny because he can run more than Tanner McKee can, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously can run more than Tanner. So, but
every year I keep looking to get like a Jacoby Brissett. I want Jacoby Brissett every year, but then he finds a job where he starts for 2 weeks and then he loses his job. It's every season.
Yearly. Might go 1-0.
But that's a guy I would love to have on this team.
Always goes 1-0. And then throws like 4 picks the next week, and he'll get sat down.
And then he loses his job. But I mean, it's a guy I would love to have on this team. Unrelated, our boy Uchenna Nwasu over here with a big third quarter endings untouched sack on Caleb Williams.
Love it. COVID interview.
Do we have a touchdown that game yet?
Nope.
No.
6-3.
No, just 2 fantasy players in a championship for me. That's all.
Me too.
We're gonna have.
Hope those are kickers and the punters.
We're not. Well, hopefully, we're not talking about that on Sunday with the kickers and the punters anymore. You know, we've had enough. We've had enough here.
It's
But no,
pretty
this
sad
defense-
when you're in the fourth quarter and you're still in play for your first touchdown scores.
Yeah. But I do think this defense is awesome. And I know me and Greg joked about it. Sidebar, like after the loss, about like we would puff our chest about this defense all week and talk about 85 Bears and how great they are and all this and come out and sort of get exposed. But a big reason the exposed happened had nothing to do with the quarterback not playing, first and foremost, okay? And it had everything to do with, I say it again, when you take out a piece, it's how important this guy is, of CJ's ability back there. It's not replaceable. We watched it last year. We watched it with our own eyes because we didn't have him. We didn't have him.
2 years ago. Remember when he got hurt 2 years ago? Same thing.
Yep. And
he
same
came
thing when he
back.
got hurt.
Yeah.
Came back and we got that much better. So we're that much better with him playing. So I don't take a lot out of that. I don't think it is like the quarterback wasn't playing. We were getting exposed. We're getting exposed and we couldn't get to the quarterback either. So, I know Miami bought the rights out today of, I think it was Shaq Barrett.
Barrett, yes.
So something to keep an eye on, just as Eagles fans. And the guy that maybe is the guy you bring in for that BG type player.
100% I'm in on Shaq Barrett.
And
Why
depending
not?
on what they
Why
do
not?
this week, and you might be able to add Calais Campbell to that. I know we talked about that a few weeks
yes.
ago.
God, let's go.
I'm him over. I would take him over Shaq Barrett. Just
I
in
would
terms
as well. Calais Campbell would be my number one.
And in terms of CJ, like you said, it's not a coincidence that Jaden Daniels at the end of that game all of a sudden was using his legs.
Who runs versus Calais Campbell and Jordan Davis?
And Jalen Carter.
Well, if you put all three of them up there together, I would love that too. On first down, like who runs the football?
And Milton Williams on the edge. Why not?
Yeah, like who runs the football?
Not many, though. You're right. You're absolutely right. Not many.
Dude, the comment section is cooking right now because I don't think I've ever seen somebody get thrown out for using words in football. Like you see it in basketball, baseball all the time. The baseball managers get tossed and they get their money's worth and they head to the showers. Same thing in basketball. You get double text to get your money's worth, head to the showers. In football, like coaches don't get ejected, players don't get ejected unless there's a fight. Like you don't ever see people argue or talk or say shit and then get thrown out. I've never seen it. Yeah, but that's NBA. I'm talking about NFL.
Yeah. NBA. Yeah.
Like in the
NFL, I'll say it right here. Hold on. This sport, Mike, you're getting me all fired up. This sport is a sport more than any of them that is like big time energy and effort, right? And it's big time talking. And it's like the movies you watch growing up, the program, and different movies. When you think about a defensive player, you think about them talking shit to you from across the other side when the quarterback's about to take the snap. Like that's what you think about. That's what you go to when you think about that elite linebacker, etc. Right? I'm just making a point here. When you play the sport, there's so much emotion. Okay. That being said, you bring in a division rival to the mix. Okay. Let's bring that into the mix. Playing for the division title, by the way. Right. Then getting a helmet hit off of your face, right? And getting no penalty there. And then you use words later in the game and that gets you kicked out. And you're spot on. I've never seen it. I've never seen it with words. It's a joke because it's a sport based off so much emotion. And then they want to continue to try to take the emotion out of a sport that needs it. Because you can't play this sport. It ain't patty cake, babe. I want to bring everybody over for the holidays. These ain't the guys that I got to bring over for the holidays. I say this about defense players all the time. Right? They are the guys that I'm looking for that maybe have some bad character issues. Okay? I don't want them guys being nice. Because they're nice, I'm not good enough. That's the difference. My offensive guys like, yeah, everybody come over. But defensive guys, I want to be a little bit of scumbags. You know what I mean? I'm being honest. I need a little scumbag. I need a little hard upcoming, uprooting, right? I need a little, you got to fight and scratch and claw to get here. Like Jalen Carter's got anger issues too. We see it. I love it. Don't lose it. Because that's what's going to make them great. You have to have that spark. Dude, anybody who played football here, man, like I have, on the defense side of the football, like, yeah, if I was good enough to play like a secondary position, yeah, but I'd rather get tackled than do the tackle. I'd rather go catch a football and try to make somebody miss than have to go stick him. Right? I prefer it. Most people do that have all the bolts, right? Screwed tight. Most prefer that over the other. I'm just being honest. So when you play that side and you prefer it, you're a sick son of a bitch. I mean, you imagine going out and wanting to hit somebody in 25-degree weather? I don't care if you're 19, 25, 30, 40, it don't matter. Ain't nobody want to do that unless something's missing. And right? That's why you find out who your tough guys are in those conditions, because guys will check out in those conditions. We've seen it. We watch enough football. But my whole point of that rant is like, don't take it away from that side of the ball. Like, unless it was like so egregious, where it was like what he said, like, oh, you know what I mean?
Even
like,
so,
it can be, like,
words are words.
I've never seen
words
that.
are words. I've never seen it. Like CJ, GJ, CTE. He's gonna have a ton of letters at the end of his name at the end of the career. Yeah, the bolts are loose. Absolutely, you got to let him just do his thing. Like getting tossed like that was a joke. And like you said,
see, he was voted the most annoying player in the league. Love that.
Yeah. And he goes on Instagram Live after every game. He's literally Antonio Brown on the defensive side of the ball. He's nuts. But
I love it.
All I'm saying is
today too.
Yeah, like the bolts have to be loose, like you said, to go out in 25-degree weather and want to do the hitting. That's why I don't know why anybody plays in Buffalo. Like if I'm a free agent, I'm never going to Buffalo. I'm good.
Ever.
I don't need to play in 15 degrees.
Ever. The best thing they could have did for their future free agency and their quarterback is dome that up, retractable roof it. You know,
and I don't think they are.
They're not.
No,
they're not.
Oh, I thought they were.
They're not.
Wow. And Chicago is, I think.
No. They're idiots.
Wow.
Because there's too many people saying like, oh, it's meant to be like 1925. Because no, it's not. It's actually it's terrible for the body, I think. Right? I'm not a doctor. I say it a couple of Holiday Inn Expresses, and I'll say this: like at the end of the day, like it's got to be worse on the body. There's no way, dude. There's no way getting hit in a condition of like 70 degrees, right, compared to getting hit in 25 is at least better on your body. Like Jalen got concussed because of how hard the surface is too.
Yeah.
Not playing. I think all these fields are heated underneath. I'm not 100% sure, which helped the ground a little bit, but I'm not sure if every field is. And I'll assume that dump is not. But you get what I'm saying? Like it's this. Why would you not just dome it up or retractable roof it? And in September, October, November, obviously keep the doors open, babe. Open the doors up. Let the air come through. But when it's 10, like close the doors, put the heat on.
And these referees too, they need TV time. Like they're getting way too into the game. They're putting their fingerprints all over stuff they shouldn't. At every sport, it's worldwide in every sport, whatever sport it is.
It's
they need
horrible in the NBA. In the NBA,
I shouldn't even know these people's names. Like we know these people's names. I shouldn't know their names.
Mike.
You're spot on.
Growing up, we didn't know Joe West from Angel Martinez, and now we could probably spot him in the mall, right? If anybody goes to the malls anymore, right? You know what I mean? Like you're right. We shouldn't know these guys' names because they shouldn't be as involved as they are.
Well,
and you're right.
It's
every sport. It's every sport.
Angel Hernandez, friggin' Ed Hockley, friggin' Scott Foster. You can go down the line.
Foster.
The amount of umpires, officials, referees we know it's sickening.
Every team in the NBA says they never win when Scott Foster refs their game. I say that,
Brothers.
and then everyone saes that.
Tony Brothers, another one. Well, listen. So we get the 2 seed. Who does it look like we end up with?
Washington.
Yep.
Which is huge because as dumb as it is, hard to beat a team 3 times.
That loss
it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Loss is big.
So
a lot of talking happened. Guys got kicked out. Guy got kicked out of a game. Quarterback got hit. Maybe helmet to helmet, depending on how homerish you want to be about it. Right?
Yeah.
Like you've heard some of that out there, which I don't necessarily agree with helmet to helmet. I thought it was more shoulder that drove the helmet into the ground, right? That was my look of it, which is you can have whatever look you want, doesn't matter. But still, going after your quarterback So and they lost, which Mike's right. If you win two in a row and you got them again, that's short too. Like we just did it and we got you again. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I almost like that we did lose because of that, right? Now to your point, yeah.
Now
they're puffing Chaz. They're puffing Chaz.
We got layup lines the next 2 weeks. We literally have layup lines. We're on Fisher Price nets. You know what I mean? Like you literally got, hey, Tom, 2 jumpers 5 feet away.
We end on make. Make sure you don't make.
We're about to play every team in the division.
Yeah.
It's going to be Cowboys, Giants, Commanders. We're not even traveling that far.
No,
ever.
We're going to be the healthy.
Yeah.
After this week.
No, we go to the Giants. We're in.
No, it's at home. Home game.
Really?
Home game. Yeah.
Even if it was, it's a road trip with your buddy. You
know
what I mean?
Since Baltimore, even that game, that was a bust, and then they haven't been on a plane since.
Yep.
All the way back then, they've still never been on a plane.
Why they're going to win the Super Bowl? I'm just saying.
No jet
I'm just
lag.
saying. They're going to win the Super Bowl. As long as they don't have to see Tampa. Ain't nobody beating them. Nobody's beating them.
It's still possible that they do face Tampa and not Washington, but it's looking more and more likely that it's going to be Washington.
There's no way Washington beats us again.
No.
Oh, on the road with a rookie quarterback in a playoff game, I would be shocked.
No way Minnesota comes here and beats us with ghosts.
Jalen's in the game. We put up 40. Right? Like, if Jalen plays on Sunday, we put up 40.
I want Dan
5
Campbell.
takeaways.
I want Dan Campbell and his ball sack. You know what I mean? I'm looking for you, Dan.
Shivering ball sack.
Yeah, and your big sack. You're all Christmas up.
Yeah.
Christmas sweaters on.
Apparently it's a huge coaching mismatch in that game. That's what everyone says. It's a huge mismatch in that one.
I want you, Donnie. I see you, Don. I fucking see you. I'm cursing all Thursday nights, not Wednesday. I don't have to be, you know what I mean? It will pass the holiday season. Right now, I want every bit of you. Every inch of you. I'll see myself out.
Absolutely.
What, me?
Yeah, anything but the Buccaneers.
No, I want every inch of Detroit. I want all that smoke.
No, thanks, Cotton. Somebody was with me there. Somebody was with me. I want every inch of you, Donnie, tonight. No, I mean, they're good, dude. They're good. I'm talking shit. But I think, like I said, I think their defense is way better than what we witnessed last week. And if it isn't, we'll find out Sunday. We'll find out Sunday. Yeah, go talk to them.
Yeah, so why do you guys keep exposing your trick plays? You're going to be like, you guys are going to run out. You've hit every trick play on the drawing board. I just feel like it was so unnecessary to pull that one out of the hat. I'm serious. Like, you pulled everything out of the hat. Like the fake stumble, the fake fall over. It's awesome. I thought it was amazing. But like to me, that's like a Philly special you save for the Super Bowl, or you save.
Yeah, like in Chicago.
Yeah, like in Chicago. Like you have one loss. Like whatever.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing?
It's like a little show off shit. It's a little show off shit. You're up big. If that's baseball, guys getting one in the temple. You know what I mean? We're temple hunting, right? You want to be a loser like that. You don't deserve to be here. Right, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, because you're up so big too. It's like if it's
why
a close
put
game,
that on tape?
Yeah, but if it's a close game versus Chicago and you need to win, right, and you need a big play, then I get it, right? But why are you using it and like now you're saying, oh, it works, so we can use it in a big spot now? It doesn't work like that. You already messed it up. It doesn't. You don't get to reuse it. You might be able to reuse it a year from now.
Do you lose it? Do you lose it?
Losers. I can't wait I want the whole inch of that sack. I want every bit of it. Come to daddy, Danny. We're here. We're here. We'll let up 17 points in that game. Win 20.
Yeah.
Win 20. Win
Just
24-17.
I mean, if we give up 17, I think we're a lock in that case.
It's gonna be really hard to do, by the way.
That defense is not stopping us from scoring 20 points.
No, I just think it's really hard to do to stop them to 17.
Yeah,
really
totally.
hard to do. I'm talking a lot of shit, being a big time homer saying that. But I think our defense can be that good too. And if we want to be a Super Bowl team, like we need them to go into Detroit and shut down an explosive offense like that. Even at 21, under 21, we know the number. If we hold somebody under 21, we should never lose if we're healthy offensively. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. So you talk about the playoffs, it's 21 and under, 21 and under, even the Chiefs, 21 and under, because their defense ain't holding us to under 21. I don't care how good they are. They're not. Not in perfect conditions. Not in a dome or where's the Super Bowl this year? Dome?
Yeah, New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah. You can put it in Miami, you can put it anywhere. Anywhere nice. Anywhere nice, they're not holding us under 21 if we're healthy. And they're good. They're good defensively. So our number is 21 or under. If we hold everybody in the playoffs under 21, I'll see you all on Broad again. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Book the ticket. I'll book the ticket.
Cotton ball. The Vikings don't scare me a bit. We go in their building and march all over them. The Vikings, Sam Darnold.
Well, that would be a home game. That would be a home game.
Oh,
that would be
even better. Even better.
The only game that's on the road would be Detroit.
If you're scared of Sam
Darnold,
could
still win the division.
Or
if you're scared of Sam Darnold in cold weather, check your beanbag right now. Like he's had a tremendous year, comeback player of the year, whatever you want to give him, right? All right, but you ain't coming here and beating this defense. I'll say it again. He's not coming here and beating this defense. Their defense is pretty good. So if we throw some picks and do some things, and yeah, they can come here and beat us. He's personally not coming here and lighting it up on us.
Nope.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he's got two show ponies on the outside, though. He's got two great wide receivers. And he's always been.
If Brock Purdy and Case Keenum had a kid, it's Sam Darnold.
I think he's got a better arm than both of them.
Yeah, I think he's better than both
Purdy's
of them.
arm. So I think that's what's going to happen again if they come here.
Oh, I get it. All right. Yeah, I like that. I get where you're going.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll be a scumbag. You know what I mean? I'm in. He's made a lot of money. He's fine.
Protect your guy.
He's fine. I mean, he can get a quick UCL, come back player of the year again. You know what I mean? More endorsements. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the run defense is good. Like, their defense is good. But offensively, they don't scare me one bit. All you have to do is stop Jefferson. He's a freak. We get it. But so is Quintana Mobay. So is so is DeJean. Like, we got freaks on our side of the ball, too.
Oh, we're the best.
I hate to say it, too, Tom. I hate to say it, but your boy, Big Play, has been – I'm a judgment of him if he's tackling. That is my judgment of how he's playing. Yeah. He has been tackling way better. Way better.
He's having a good season this year.
Very good year.
Hey, I love to join the party because I'll give credit. I'll give credit where credit's due. I'm not a hater. I've always kept it in no agenda, right? I don't hate Darius. I hate you when you don't want to tackle. You're getting paid to tackle too. And I think what you see on this defense too, like translates to guys too, right? Where guys are like, dude, I don't want to be the only guy on tape, like not feeling like I'm giving that effort. Mm-hmm. I thought last week he tackled. I thought he was aggressive. Luke, to your point, I thought last week he played a great football game, despite what happened, despite the score, right, and some things that transpired. I thought he played really good football. So I'm right with you. I thought he played better.
I feel like with him, and I touched on it last week, but again, I think when you go back to what he said prior to the year, right, he knows where he's at this point in his career, and he's looking at it like, this contract might be his last contract. He's probably in his twilight years, right? And I do think having those young ponies and an opportunity to be an example, a leader, develop them, I think has given a little bit of a rejuvenation to him. It's also taken off some of the pressure off of him to be able to play a little bit looser at this stage in his career. And I think you're seeing the results of that, right? We talked about, Brandon Graham. How many times have we heard that Brandon Graham is washed? And then you just see these young cats come up on the defensive line, and he looks like he's got a little juice left in the tank. And I feel like that's where Slay's at, where, I almost feel like these young guys and the opportunity to, be their mentor and push them and make, and the team is good, a chance to win a Super Bowl on the way out, I think is really bringing out the best in Darius Slay right now.
Yeah, and I agree with Matt Berg in the comment section. I think the Buccaneers might be 1A because they're just our kryptonite, but a team that's tough to beat is the Packers. The only thing that doesn't scare me about the Packers is their offensive line. I think you just got to put pressure on the quarterback and you'll be fine. But they're
makes mistakes. If he has pressure, he makes mistakes.
You just got to get a lead. You can't let them run the football. if you get a first quarter lead on them and force them to be predictable and throw the football and take Josh Jacobs out of a game, I don't really think they can beat anyone like that.
Facts,
at least
Luke.
good
Facts.
teams.
And we talk about tackling and stuff like that. You really don't want to see Josh Jacobs in a cold weather. Right? I think getting him outside is what we hope that would like with Saquon, right? Like you don't want to tackle Saquon, and I think he runs harder than Saquon. Saquon's prettier. Saquon's got more.
I'd rather tackle Saquon than Josh Jacobs.
For
sure.
In cold weather, yeah. So that would be an interesting matchup because we are tackling well, and that'll put it right at the forefront, right?
They're my X Factor team because they're not. I don't think they're predictable. Like they're just not predictable. You have no idea. Jordan Love sometimes looks like the next coming to whoever, and then sometimes he just stinks and gives you the ball back.
Well, he looks like early. He looks like early Josh Allen. Right up until this year, Josh Allen could look like the best quarterback in the league, and then you turn around and he plays hero ball at points, right? And he would have a lot of really unnecessary turnovers. And I think that's why if you can get to him and make him have to make quick decisions and panic, I think that you could create some of those turnovers, especially with the defensive secondary that we have.
And same thing with Josh Allen. Like the wide receiver room is very similar to me because you don't know where they're going to hit you. Like it could be Shakir. I mean, they have Amari Cooper now, but before Cooper, you didn't know where they were going to hit you. Same thing with the Packers. Like Jaden Reed has been terrible. He started the season off sizzling, and Jaden Reed's been awful. And then you have the Tavion Wicks, like Tucker Kraft. You just don't know who's going to – like they're not predictable. Like when you play the Eagles, you know what you're getting. When you play the Lions, you know what you're getting.
Games, but they don't have a number one. Like I don't think they have a clear-cut number one. They have a bunch of 2s and 3s, Romeo Dobbs and a bunch of these other guys who have gone out and had some big games this season, but not on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
I think teams like that are tough to plan for, to be honest.
Well, I think them or Detroit are very similar. You got to get a first quarter lead. You have to. That's why I'm a little bit more adamant on the quick starts than other people. When you go up against those two teams, you cannot let them run the ball for 3 quarters. You can't. You have to let Jared Goff and Jordan Love turn the ball over like Jared Goff did 5 times in a game. You have to. That's the only chance you have to beat. I understand that we're great, but honestly, I truly believe the only chance you really have of beating them is getting a lead. If they take a lead and run the ball, they can beat anybody. It makes the game so simple for both of those teams.
Yeah, but a lead
that's
versus
our MO too, right?
But a lead versus a damn good team is different than a lead versus a bad team.
I'm with you, but I'm in terms of a formula going into a week and how I'm game planning. I'm scripting. I'm 10-0. Even 10. If you go if I'm scripting all my best stuff against those two teams, I'm scripting my best stuff for the first quarter, all of it, because I need to get a lead and need to force them to pass the ball.
So you're saying you're airing it all out.
The first quarter, whatever I like the most as a play caller, I'm calling it in the first quarter of the game. I am taking control of the game.
You're doing that on steroids now. You're saying is in that situation, you're just emptying the whole stuff.
The first quarter, I'm giving you everything I got in the first quarter.
All right. No, I get where you're
going. And Saquon Barkley's winning me the rest of the game. That's it.
And I'll tell you this: I agree, I don't disagree with anything you said because there's truth to a lot of it. I just think we're that good that we can overcome 10-0.
I hear you, but I just don't. I don't want to get to that point.
14-0. I'm right with you. I think you could just wrap it up, get the bus going. But even that, I just think we're so explosive. We're such a big play offense. I just think I don't know where the kill shot comes. You know what I mean? For us, we're that good defensively. We're that good offensively.
That's my point, though. I think that's where the kill shot comes, where you're in a big game and you get smacked in the mouth, or you're down 10-0 or whatever, and we're just chasing the whole game.
If you're used to it.
Well, I don't think we are used to it because our defense is held up for the most part in most first quarter. Even back in week 1, if you remember that Green Bay game when Jalen turned the ball over, I think twice in the first quarter, we forced them to 2 field goals in the red zone. That was huge. That game could have went a completely other direction if we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's why we won the game, 2 weeks ago. Same situation. Jalen and Cooper turned the ball over. We hold a team to 3 points.
Yeah.
We win a game. That game's over as soon as you hold them to 3 points. It's a simple formula. That's how good our defense is. So you're not wrong. I just feel like we've been down We're used to it. But I agree with you. I prefer not to play that game, Russian roulette with them.
Yeah, but we
like,
haven't
hey,
been
here's
down.
10.
We've been trailing, but we haven't been chasing. That's what, like, we've never been down have we been down 2 possessions all year once?
That the only game that it happened in was 9-0 to the Ravens, but that's not 2 possessions. You just said 10.
Right.
It was 9 because Tucker missed the extra point.
Well, okay, so that's a monster game. That's a monster offense, a monster team, and we shut them down the rest of the game. So in that spot, we've been able to do it. But your point is so valid. That's Russian roulette in an NFC title game or a divisional round game or a wild card game. You're playing Russian roulette a little bit if you're down 10 or 13. If you're down 7, that happens. I always say the number 10 is you can overcome that, right? Because that means they got down there, you got to stop. You held them to 3, right? You can get that momentum back with a tutty, right? You go down the field and get 7, 10-7, brand new game, right? That's how I've always looked at that. It can't get to 14, right? There's certain numbers it can't get to. It can't get to 13. Certain numbers I feel like, it might be tough for any team, especially in playoff time, right? So, but 10 to me with this offense, it doesn't, not ideal.
Right, but I'm saying on the flip side of that, if we go up 10, outside of last week, obviously, because our quarterback gets hurt, we don't lose those games. That's why I'm putting my foot on the gas in the first quarter. We will not lose a game with everyone healthy if we're up 10 points, the way we are currently constructed. That's why that's my go-to.
So Tampa's our number one, like, fear team because it's just the matchup, right? Because it's just the way they played. As Todd Bowles seems to have something on us in some way. So that's the one team. I'll still see them. You know,
we did beat them last year, though.
They can
we beat them last year, though.
On the Monday night game, then when we went down there for the playoffs, it wasn't good.
Yeah,
I'm not. I mean, I get it. They're scary, and I'm not looking over them, but I'm not as scared as everyone else is. Honestly, I'll be honest.
Good teams come playoff time. Let's just call that what it is when you talk about the NFC too.
And they just lost. They also just lost to this Dallas team last week that we're rolling over, apparently. So I'm not all that scared of them.
Yeah, I did roll the Cowboys over, and they've been playing tough.
It's just all matchups, though. Like, I don't know. They clearly have had our number, so I'd rather not see them.
It is matchups when you get deep, just like postseason baseball.
Yeah,
it's all about who you're playing, when you're playing them, you know, how you match up. It's the same thing with football. What's your matchups like? What are your strengths? What are their weaknesses? Do you have a little advantage here, there, wherever? But let's talk about something that happened on Christmas Day. Okay, because I say this to Greg. I felt like in a group message with the guys from Sunday, I said, this is a guarantee. Take the 10, dude. Take the 9. There's no way they get blown out. Like, with all 3 guys playing, I just said to Greg, there's no way. Like, Greg Wilson sweeps. Like, no way. Like, I would load up on the Sixers. Load up, right? That being said, I even said, like, I'm not going to say they're going to go win, but I think they're going to be competitive. Like, I felt like we were going to get the best fight we could get from them, right? I just did. And, man, credit to them, because a lot of things that we were hoping for, you know, sort of shaped up, you know, yesterday. You know, Maxey was the up-and-coming superstar that we need him to be. I thought our perimeter defense in the first and second quarter, right, was unbelievable. Kelly Oubre was in shorts. He was in shorts. Forget about offensive production, anything else. Kelly Oubre, right, was all over guys defensively in, like, the first quarter there, if you guys were paying attention to it that early. Right? He just was. He was up in it. He was physical. You saw the impact of Paul George, like Luke talked about, you know, this offseason, the importance of perimeter defenders that are real perimeter defenders and good ones, right? PG's a good one. Thought he stood out. Caleb Martin's impact defensively obviously showed out of how good a perimeter defender he is. And when you play the Celtics, you need a lot of that. I don't want to overrate a win with no Drew Holiday and no Porzingis, right? But I'm still beating their 2 best players. Their 2 best players were still on the court, right? And that's Brown and Tatum, and they've won a ton together. So I'm going to call it what it is. That's the best team, arguably, in basketball. If not, they're the best team in the Eastern Conference. And that's a statement win. That can be a signature win. And that can be a win to really get them going now. We're really getting you to believe, look what we can do. And think about that. We did that with how many mixed games, how limited time playing with each other, So it just shows you how good those three guys and this roster can fit. And Paul George didn't even have his best game. He's still finding his rhythm here, which I'm good with because Maxey's that good. Like he can.
But he impacted the game, and that's like people are making the Tobias Harris comparisons. I get it on the offensive side of the ball, like nothing's going in. I understand it. When Tobias Harris was defensively, not only is he not negative, he's a positive, right? It's not like you're playing a liability. He's a positive on that side of the court. And honestly, offensively, as bad as he is, he's still, a threat, like you said. So yeah, but you alluded to it earlier about Boston, about having good perimeter defenders. It's really deeper than that. If you watch that game or even the highlights of that game, what you have to do against them more than perimeter defense, you have to be able to guard one-on-one. You cannot help. You can help. You can help because they're so good at finding space off the ball, and they're so good. If you give them that much room, all five of those guys, to let up a three, they're going to knock it down. You have got to play good one. Yeah, and I was just going there. Guard your yard. And he was one of those. He was one of those guys the whole game. Like people brought up Caleb and you brought up Kelly, and they were tremendous defensively. Dude, they were switching Jason Tatum or Maxey on to Jason Tatum. He was guarding his yard. He was. And that is like that's how you beat them more than anything. So I loved seeing that. That was awesome.
It was physicality. It was the ability to have athleticism on the perimeter, to your point, Luke, to be able to guard in space, right? And that's the difference that you see. Paul George can guard in space. Caleb Martin can guard in space. Kelly Oubre can guard in space. Kyle Lowry at 40 years old can still guard in space.
Yeah.
He's still physical enough. Maxey's gotten so much better defensively because he has a 1-2, right? We always talked about it. He can guard in space because of his quickness too. So, I mean, and Joel is a first-team all-defensive guy. He always, if he's healthy and can walk, that's how good he is defensively for you as a basketball team. So, dude, yeah, I go on and on days about the importance that I think this win can have. And, they weren't done if they can get healthy, right? They weren't going to be done because they're that good. And the East, it wasn't over yet outside of like the first three teams, right? Where you're like, all right, you're not catching any of those guys, but 4 and 5's open. Like that's still fun. I'll play that. And they're good enough to get there. They are.
I had a couple takeaways from this game. Number one, before the game started, I was all over the Sixers as well because 91% of money was on the Celtics and 9% was on the Sixers. Vegas does not lose. Number two, Joel Embiid talking shit to the crowd, waving them goodbye. I love that. Like when he's doing that, not only is he being a leader without knowing it, like he is locked in, focused. Okay. Another takeaway, 19 for 19 from the free throw line, and we needed all 19 of them. Paul George was awful. I thought he was terrible. And he hit 2 clutch free throws. Welcome to Philadelphia free throws. They were huge. Like
Tobias
big time.
Goes 1 for 2.
Yes, absolutely. Tobias goes 1 for 2. And my main takeaway, and listen, I'm just complaining to complain because I want championship. This whole process, we've waited long enough years. I want a championship. But they made my Christmas sweet. There's no Christmas banners, but screw Boston. Hate the Celtics. I know there's no holiday of Porzingis. That was awesome. Statement win. Gelled them together. You know what I mean? I'm all in. I'm back in until they spit me out. But what I'm saying is they need a second ball handler, and it's killing us. Because the Nick Nurse love affair with Kyle Lowry, to a degree, I get it. Because I found myself with 2 minutes left screaming at the TV to bring Lowry back in because you had Maxey as your only ball handler with 2 huge turnovers at the end of the game, stepping and a backcourt violation, and then falling over and turning the ball over. And the reason that's happening is because they can just trap him and focus all their attention on Maxey because we don't have a single other ball handler. Paul George is 35 years old. He's not as quick as he used to be. He doesn't really handle the ball. He can. He's a good half-court ball handler, but not a full-court break-the-press ball handler. Joel Embiid caught the ball 95 feet away from the basket, and we turned the ball over. That cannot happen. You're up 9 points. They hit a 3. Now you're up 6
going
points.
Between his legs.
And you throw the ball to your 7'2" center 95 feet away from the basket. You can't do that. They need a second ball handler because that's going to be
smart enough to know, hold on to that basketball, attract the double, don't panic.
He shouldn't be in that position, Tom. The center should not be bringing the ball full court down the floor on a full court press.
No, you're right. And I think
need a second ball handler.
And that would be Jared McCain. Obviously, he's healthy, but he's not. So it's got to be Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
Right? Because Reggie Jackson has the quickness in those late games to be able to break it. Like you're talking about Maxey having the ability to break it, and he's bigger. He's like more physical than like even Jared is, because Jared's a little smaller, right? You guys got where I'm going. Like Maxey, sometimes the physicality takes over in those 2-minute drills where teams get way more physical. They get away with it because you see it too. Teams get away with like fouling when they start full court pressing all the time. So you need more guys with some physicality and quickness to be able to battle through some of that. And you're right. Embiid shouldn't be getting an inbound there. And if he is, that's fine because you're trusting enough to attract the double and get it up court and make the right read because now somebody's open, right? Like when you get doubled, somebody's open. So can you trust your best player to make a read? You know, Paul George has enough handles to be able to bring a basketball up in those pressure situations too. And he's physical enough. And he's a star, which you want your stars getting the ball in those situations because you got a better chance of them getting a call, in my opinion.
Paul George is he's an east-west dribbler. Hell of a half-court ball handler. He's not north to south. He's just not. He's not breaking.
He's not quick enough. He's not quick enough.
This is what you have. Right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So they got, at the deadline, they have to get a ball handler. I'm not settling. I'm not settling for Reggie Jackson or Kyle Lowry. I'm just saying if they continue at this pace, they've won 8 of their last 11. If they keep winning, and now you're bought back in with a championship and you're 4 or 5 seed, and that's what you're going for, you need a ball handler not named Reggie Jackson or Kyle Lowry. And I know we're missing McCain. I love McCain to death, but he plays his best basketball at the 2. He's not a point guard. When Nick Nurse made him a point guard because Lowry and Jackson were out, he had his worst games here. He's not a point guard. He's a scorer that's a shooting guard that needs to come off the ball, and then when he gets the ball, he can be creative. But he's not a north to south break the press guy. All we had was Maxey, and he had 2 costly turnovers. They almost blew that game.
He can run an offense when you get to the half court, but he can't. He's not good enough to be able to bring it up in those pressure situations either. Because Luke made a point like weeks ago just about PG. Our offense is better when he brings it up like, you know, throughout the first like 3 quarters, right?
When they're playing, when you're going up against a soft press in like a second quarter, I'm fine with Paul George bringing up the ball. They're not really going to pressure you with the ball, and it just allows Maxey to not have it all the time. So I'm totally cool with that. And he's honestly just like McCain. Obviously, he's way better with the ball, but he's honestly best when he doesn't have the ball. Like we've seen Tyrese Maxey's best basketball, honestly, next to Kyle Lowry. Especially in last year's playoffs, the best he played in that series was with Kyle Lowry, a point guard.
Well, to that point, like we don't give Paul George enough credit for his impact on his basketball team. When him and Maxey play, we're really good. Like even when Embiid hasn't played, like for you, I know you guys watch it like I do. Like we've been really good.
8 of 11.
And it makes Maxey like that much better to Luke's point because he can run off the ball more in those half court sets with PG. And their 2-man game has already been something like that seems like it gels well. Like their 2-man game together gels well. And that's huge because you know you're going to be missing Joe at times. So they're good enough to still win games without him. They're not as good, obviously, right? But they're good enough to beat the likes of, you know, Detroit's and even Orlando, who's like a 4 seed. Like they're good enough to beat an Orlando without Joel. Like there's certain teams. They're not going to beat Boston or Cleveland, right? But because they don't have that extra pop to beat them. But everybody else, like Miami, go down the line. They're good enough to beat everybody else in the Eastern Conference, like in a regular season game.
Yeah, I'm just going to drop this in, then I got to jump off. But listen, I felt really good about Christmas Day because no matter what happens, it always seems over the last couple of years this team plays differently in Boston against the Celtics. Not necessarily at home, but they play really well in Boston. And it's just one of these things where I'm looking at it, and to the point that you made, Tom, right, where you talk about Paul George, right? We've seen the flashes this season where you do see the fit. I think it's really hard with all the drastic changes that they've made to expect a consistency. And that's where the problem has come in, right? So you're starting to get guys consistently stay healthy now. You're starting to build that rapport. We saw what happened with Miami when they went and got Bosch and LeBron and all these guys. It took them 35 games, give or take, to get to a point where they started to find what their chemistry was. And I think that's where this team is at, where now they're on the cusp of, if Joe can stay in the lineup fairly consistently, they're starting to see what the dynamic of the offense is going to look like. I think Paul George will find his spot. I'm not worried about that. But, when you have the resume, that a Hall of Fame resume that he does, and he still can fill a stat sheet on nights. It's not like James Harden, where he typically totally flashes and disappears. He puts 50
He doesn't need the ball. Yep.
Exactly. He's such an ideal fit for this team that if they can stay healthy, and guys like Caleb Martin can now, it seems like he's playing more confidently and more comfortable. I feel like this team is now on the cusp. We talked about it, right? Come back and talk to me after Christmas. Talk to me after January, and let's see where this team's at. Because that's really where the meaningful basketball comes. They're only, 29 games, 28 games into the season. Plenty of time to make up. And you're right, Tom. There's a lot of the top-tier teams are the top-tier teams. There's a lot of mid-level and mediocre teams in the Eastern Conference. If you're not that top 2 or 3 elite, they got a whole lot of games left that they can make up a whole ton of ground. And if they could get – I just need them – they need to get out of the play-in. I don't like the play-in. They could get up in that 6th seed, which they are very, very, very in striking distance to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Then I think they're in good shape.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
to
not wide
reiterate,
open. Chrome.
just to reiterate, my only concern is we have so many guards. So many guards.
They're very guard heavy.
But
They're gonna
no
make
ball,
moves at that
no ball handling. That's the issue. Like Paul George takes a lot of ISO, and I know he's an ISO player, but he's taking a lot of tough shots this year. I feel like he's trying to force a lot of stuff when he used to be super smooth because he had guys that could space the floor for him and ball handle.
I think he's had moments of both, to your point, Mike. I think he's had moments where, he'll get to his spots and make those tough shots, but they'll be smoother and et cetera. And then I feel like there's times where maybe, like, to your point, he's rushing, he's forcing stuff, but I think he's been such a great distributor. And that's the big thing that's been unnoticed. His one-on-one ability has allowed him to distribute. And I think more than anything, like, when you talk about Paul George, at this point he wants to win. But when I say he does stuff without the basketball, it's the defense, it's the ability to distribute when he does get the basketball. But you're right. I mean, we lack size, and Bona is not good enough to play yet, obviously, or he would. And I don't know where they're going to get that. You're not going to. They don't have enough. They don't have enough to maybe get both. Right?
No, they definitely don't. They definitely don't.
I prefer the size. Like,
I think that's 100% where they're going. I think there's I don't think there's any chance that they go get in guard. Although I totally see where you're coming from. I don't see it happening.
Well, name me all the guards on the team and tell me how many are beating a full court press.
I'm fully with you. I'm fully with you. I don't think that they look at.
He's not.
I think they look at it more so like, how do we guard the Knicks and how do we guard Boston? Let's get another bot. Like that, they look at it that way. Like, let's get someone in here like Dorian Finney-Smith.
Awesome yesterday, by the way.
He's been unbelievable this year.
I love
the golden gem.
A team like the Pacers, mediocre, in my opinion. They could beat us. Like a team like the Pacers are so mediocre, but they have so many ball handling. No, I know, but it's like that's where your weakness is. Like I need size too, but you're banking on Embiid being healthy when the playoffs.
Yeah, but they can't guard our size. They can't guard our size though. Like that's where you just flip it the other way. Like we can guard their ball handling. They can't guard our size. I wouldn't be worried in that series.
Siakam has owned Embiid his entire career. Owned him.
I feel pretty comfortable in that series. I'm not going to lie, especially with bigger performers and stuff like that. But the main takeaway for me with this whole game was what we talked about all summer, which was what are these guys, Caleb Martin, Paul George, although he didn't look great offensively yesterday, what are they going to look like when Embiid's off the court when he plays? And this is the first time we got to see it pretty much all year for the most part. And what happened was they won that game in the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter when they had Lowry, Jackson, Maxey, Martin, and Yabusele. That five dominated that game and blew it wide open. And if I were to tell you before the game, Embiid will have what he had, like 25, 27. He'll have 27, but he's going to be a minus 18. I'm like, we lose by 30. And that's the difference. That's honestly so. And this is where I might be taking this a little too far based off of one game. I'll be honest. I don't think Embiid is the MVP that he once was, but I think that the team that he's on now is the best team he's ever been on. And I do think instead of asking him to score 35 a game, if you go to him and say, Embiid, I need you to score 25 a game. Give me 25. Give me elite rim protection and be committed to rebounding the basketball. This team is good enough to go as far as they've ever had. Because they have Caleb Martin, they have Paul George, they have Yabu, they have all these guys that they just didn't have back then. To where, like yesterday, what are you going to do when he's not out there? And they were the best they were all game when he was out there, when he was on the bench. It was unbelievable. I didn't know what I was watching. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it got so ridiculous that he didn't come back into the game until there was 5 minutes left.
Yeah, where you're almost like, put him back in. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, but to your point, like just his impact of him playing alone, like sets them up to be able to do that in those situations too, right? Because it's not something those guys can sustain for 4 quarters without him, right? Because his 27 is important to the game and all the things he brings. So I just think the importance of him even being in a lineup is a win. Like, he had 27, he had 9 boards. PGA struggled offensively, like we talked about, but had 3 steals, had a block. That's big. Oubre's defense was good. But he had 2 blocks, a steal, 8 boards. So offensive game wasn't there, right? But his defensive game was absolutely there. Caleb Martin was fantastic on both ends. Maxey was the superstar. That's exactly what he was yesterday. Okay. And then Yabusele was one of the main reasons why we won the game, because he's plus 18, 12 points, 4 boards, just this instant impact off the bench in those 21 minutes. And then obviously Lowry was a plus 20, Reggie was a plus 11, Maxey was a plus 7, and Caleb was a plus 8. Everybody else, like you said, Luke, minus 16 for George, minus 18 for Embiid.
You win the game in Boston. Unbelievable.
Yep. And
so I know I'm obsessing over this, but Luke just hit it on the head, though. The end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth quarter, we almost didn't bring Embiid back in if they didn't hit those 2 threes. Were our best basketball. But think about what you said. You have Tyrese Maxey,
3 ball handlers,
and Reggie Jackson. You have 3 ball handlers. Now, there are better ball handlers and scorers out there than Kyle Lowry and Reggie Jackson. They might not be able to sustain. Like, Kyle Lowry's 40 years old. He played great.
He can't play for 4 quarters.
And Caleb Martin's not going to hit 7 threes every time you play Boston. So, and I love Caleb Martin to death. His job's defense. Like, he's not going to knock down 7 threes. It's the first time in his career he ever did it. So my point is, if somehow, not that you need guards, like I agree we need a big body too. You need someone to replace Bona. And we didn't have Drummond. Not that he's been great this year, but Drummond was out.
He would die in that game against Boston. He would die.
You could sneak him in when Cornette's playing, though. But I agree. But, like, if you replace Jackson and Lowry with, I don't know, like, that's what I was going to ask you, Luke. Like, who's out there? Like, Jordan Clarkson's a random name I thought of, but, like, who? He's
expensive. They can't. The only thing that they can't do, I forget the number. I think it's $9.5 million. They can't go above that number, bringing anyone in. So that's why I really think, right. So he's the guy that's leaving, it seems like, but he's played pretty well. So I wouldn't hate it if they kept him. I wouldn't despise it. I'm leaning towards getting rid of him, but I wouldn't hate it. But
I'm leaning the other way, Luke. I'm sorry, real quick. I'm leaning the other way because I think he's played great defensively.
No, I'm fine, but that's fine.
Go ahead. It doesn't
he's played so well. He's played so well. This is when you trade him. That's
you're not wrong.
Right,
you're not wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
His ceiling's here. So if you can go get me some guys that are gonna put me over the top, like I'm not worried about a 23-year-old KJ Martin who jumps high. Like I get it. Yeah, I mean he shoots 50% from the free throw line. I don't need him.
He jumped out the gym. He jumped out the gym. So does everybody else.
We were 19 for 19 from the free throw line. If KJ Martin plays, we're 19 for 23.
Yeah, don't miss 2.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I mean,
who's out there? Who's out there, Luke? Give me guys.
I'll give him a guy, Luke. Give him a guy.
I mean, Brooklyn's got to have somebody on that team. Who's a guard on that team? I know Greg's gonna say Ben Simmons, but
I've wanted Cam Thomas. I've wanted Cam Thomas forever.
Bring me back,
Ben. It's too much money.
Talk about ball handler.
But he's a scorer though.
Oh, yeah. I thought Cam Johnson's making too much, but yeah.
Yeah, like Golden State, right? Like I know he makes more money, but they just got Schroeder.
Right,
Not
a guy like that
not that I
would
want to
be.
throw a Schroeder parade, but a guy like that just puts you like.
I mean, listen, if you could find a guard that's making a minimum contract, you can make a trade easily. You wouldn't even have to give up KJ.
I've always liked Reggie Jackson better than Schroeder. Just speaking, just out basketball, just my eyes. Like I've never been a Schroeder guy.
I think at this point of his career, I think he's much better than Reggie Jackson, but I understand.
Yeah, I love Reggie Jackson. Like last year, I was watching him a lot. He was great. This year, I don't know if he's just not comfortable or he just doesn't fit, but like he's not the same guy. He's not the same guy. But even in his but he wasn't playing last year when he would come into the game. He was instant. Like
he was getting 18 to 20 minutes a night, though. He was getting it nightly. He was getting that production nightly. He wasn't getting the consistency here at all. It's not like taking a shot at Nick Nurse. That just means we had so many guards, right? Right, Buckets. We had so many guards that we had nowhere to play him. So he was like the old guy on the bench at the end of the bench. But in reality, he was good enough to play in Denver. Like he was good enough to get 18 to 20 minutes there, and he was into the offense. I think, come on, like you go to a new city and you're sitting around, it's hard to get in rhythm. It's like we talk about baseball players being in rhythm. Like you need rhythm to be because he's a shooter, you know. We're talking about guys.
Boston went on like an 11-0 run in like a minute. That's the only. I'm just trying to avoid that. I don't think Jackson's doing that.
I thought we
were
going to lose. I thought we were going to lose.
Me too.
Same.
I don't think Jackson's doing that anymore. And Lowry.
Here's a name that I somehow didn't think of when you asked me. Doesn't involve trading for anybody. In fact, just involves a little bit of this. How about Markelle Fultz? Because that to me seems like probably the most realistic, cheapest option where you don't have to give. And then guess what? And then you can trade. You could trade KJ for that forward, and you have both. I mean, I get it. I'm not want to rely on Markelle Fultz, but situational basketball, I think he could be implemented in 5-minute stints and have an impact on a game.
Yeah, I think the four thing's important too, because I think we're so reliant on Yabu. Like if Yabu doesn't play well, chances are we're not going to play well. Like I think we need that safety blanket for Yabu because he's doing a lot. Like he's stretching the 4, then he's playing the 5, then he's playing the 4. Like he's doing a lot.
Yeah, you need another stretch 4.
Yeah.
Another like 6'10", 6'9" guy.
Well, that's where DFS is he's on a really bad team and 1 year deal. That should be pretty easy to get him in here.
Just keep KJ Martin. I would just keep KJ Martin at that point. I've never been a DFS guy. Like you might.
I just think he gives you a little bit more of ability to shoot the ball, but I really wouldn't be mad if I found out that they turned down that trade. I wouldn't really be killing him for it.
No, because I like KJ defensively better. I think we have enough offense to win. We don't need another guy at the 4 or 5 that can score. I need a guy.
Well, he's definitely more catered to be a defender than an offensive player, but he can at least shoot the ball a little bit. Like KJ's been better than last year, but not reliable.
But back on the Fultz thing, what's Markelle? 25, 26 now? 25?
I don't know.
Is he on a team? Is he still on
No, he's a free agent.
That tells me something in itself. Like, how is he not on a team?
26.
There you go. No, I hear you, no doubt. But in terms of just being a ball handler and playing a little bit of defense in a game for 5 to 10 minutes a night when you need it, if someone's in foul trouble, I don't hate it.
Yeah, see, like I'm not worried about 5 to 10 minutes of the game. I'm worried about at the end of the game, you have Oubre, Paul George, Embiid, Yabusele. They're not bringing the ball up. Like it's literally just Maxey. So like then Nick Nurse did do it. He brought Lowry in the final minute. They called timeout with like a minute and a half left. Lowry came back in. It just sucks that it has to be Lowry. Like if we had
realistically, I don't see them bringing anyone. I don't see them giving up resources for that because they love Lowry.
Well, listen, they just said it was.
Yeah,
I'm just
you're
reading about it.
Resource to get him big. That's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Most teams didn't pick him up because of like this health issues.
Oh, he's been perfect here then.
Yeah, but like his minutes went down last year. His production was down. He shot 22% from 3. Like he But the year before, he was still impactful. I thought he still had a little burst. I mean, God damn, he's number 1 pick of the draft. I mean, he obviously has a skill set that you think could translate somewhere in some fashion, but some guys just can't play at this level, man. They just can't play when everybody's great on a nightly basis.
Exciting times, though. We're back.
I missed Campaign so much. Like Campaign was such a random dude on the team, but like when he signed with New York, I was like, damn. Because
anytime he shot the ball, I thought it was in. It were horrible shots too, and I always thought they were going in.
He was just one of those guys, and he doesn't cost you much, and he can handle the ball. And he talked that smack too. I love him.
Yeah, they were all off the side. They were
his little side twerk shot. He's like,
whatever reason, I always thought they were going in. Always.
Yeah,
he had that one playoff game though where he made like 2 35-footers in a row.
Like, why let him walk? Like he was
they like Reggie Jackson, clearly.
Nah, I think it's buddy stuff. Like Reggie Jackson played with Paul George.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah.
That shit matters, though.
I'm with you.
Shit matters.
Yeah, he wants his friends watching him play basketball. Like that. Sucks. Eric Gordon hasn't played in 2 months.
How much fucking time would Campaign get more than Reggie Jackson's got? Let's have that conversation then.
I think you'd play the Lowry role. Like he's only $6 million a year.
No, because Lowry plays the Lowry role.
No, Lowry plays the Lowry role because nobody. This guy a week ago was wearing a shirt that said Coach Lowry. He put duct tape on his polo. He knows he's cooked. He's just the only option.
He doesn't know he's cooked.
He plays great in big games though. Like even in the playoffs, I thought he was outside of the where he didn't call a timeout when he's inbounding the ball. Don't know why I didn't do that. Outside of that,
and he was free throw.
Yeah, and that was a bad game for him. Outside of that game, I think he was pretty good. But I think he plays well in big games.
He was fantastic.
Yeah. I think he does play well in bigger games.
He does.
If you trot him out there against Charlotte, he'll look like shit the whole game, the entire game.
I like him
because in a big game, he's in.
I like him because he does nonsense.
That shot he made yesterday was ginormous. That was huge.
Yeah. You'll be down 3, and the other team will be inbounding, and he'll just flop, and he gets the foul and goes to the line, and no time was wasted. Like he does like the nonsense, which is good.
Listen, he's a guy you need. He's a guy you need, like to try to help you get over that hump. Just that, even if it's 10 minutes of just like getting in somebody's shorts, just being a pest. Like there's types of guys, help you win. You need it. I think there's enough guard play here. I do.
You could trade Eric Gordon for a guard. I would love that.
Guard play. It's ball handling.
Yeah, I would love someone to. I'd love to get Eric Gordon out of here tomorrow.
I think in 2024 going on 2025 NBA, there ain't a lot of great ball handlers.
Yeah, there's not a lot out there.
There's a lot of great athletes that can dribble.
The East is much better than the West.
Yeah, the East is full of it.
Even that might be debatable.
Yeah, but I'm talking about guys you can get.
Not
being
full of guys who start.
Ain't no young Kyrie's walking through the door anyway.
Yeah, like that's my point. Like it's not emphasized like it was when I was growing up. Like you ain't figure.
You could shoot. That's all he cares about.
Yeah, you ain't figure 8 with the ball. Yeah, right. It ain't a focus.
I probably don't even know what figure 8 is.
I mean, if you have length and can create your own shot, you will be just fine. You will make a lot of money.
Listen, the Whites aren't necessarily back when it comes to basketball, as Will would say, right? But we're better, right? But let's be real.
I take TJ McConnell in a heartbeat.
I wasn't
all day.
I wasn't blessed with the same athleticism as others playing the sport as basketball. So I had to work on being a great, not great ball handler, but a good enough ball handler to be able to compete. You know what I mean? Because if you can't, if I was so athletic and I could just dribble and go down the court and just dunk on cats all day in 5th grade, you know what I mean? If I was just that explosive, I never need to really learn how to be a great ball handler.
Ben Simmons.
I just got to be a good enough ball handler. So I think the NBA is littered with not enough fundamentally sound guys. Not saying guys can't dribble through their legs. We're talking about in that last minute of a game guy. This is who we're talking about. That press comes and they can break it. There ain't a lot of those cats. There ain't a lot of Kyrie's floating around Shea Alexander, SGAs. There's not a lot of like this thing about easy guys, like even LeBron, because he's so fucking strong. You know what I mean? Like anybody like that.
It just does feel like we blow leads like that all the time. Like we were up, they went on an 11-0 run. Like you said it, you thought we were going to lose. I thought we were going to lose. I'm like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, we're up 11 with 2 minutes left. We're going to lose. Like, what is that mindset? I feel like we're the only team that deals with that. Now, basketball's runs, don't get me wrong, but I feel like
my dad came in the other room too because we're all over my sisters for Christmas. And that comes in the room. This is a wrap. I said, "Would you knock it off?" And this is up 11. I said, "Would you lock in?" Like
this is without Drew Holiday being a part of that press. It's a scary part,
right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to overreact to the press because I think you can learn from it if you win the game, right? If you lose that game, you can't learn from it. If you win it. Hey, what could we done a little bit better there? What could our adjustments been? Especially with Drew. But I just think was fun to watch because Maxey can get anywhere on the court he wants to get to. Like it's amazing. Like if you pick and roll with him, like at any time he wants to, he can go to the basket. He gets no calls at all. He would be averaging he might average 40 a game if he gets calls. Like, doesn't know, Greg. I know you don't watch this way. You just been like just enjoying the ride here. Like you're at Disney. You're at Disney talking Sixers.
Keep your hands inside.
He has his off nights for sure, like any player, right? But I'm not talking about his shooting abilities. I'm talking about his ability to get to the bucket. He needs more calls, man. And
I think he needs a better whistle, but I think a little bit is on him. Sometimes he tries to. I think he was just naturally taught to fly away from contact, which creates like a ton of awkward, weird finishes. And it looks like he got fouled when a lot of times, especially in today's NBA, just find the contact and go to the line.
Yeah,
he doesn't do that enough. He doesn't do that enough.
And I got one.
If I'm being nitpicky, but
one last concern. Nick Nurse calls a timeout. Let me just picture this in your brains. All right, timeout Sixers. We need a play out of a timeout. What is the play?
Oh, I'm going to Maxey. I pretty much just said that.
It has been Maxey sprinting to the rim every single time. He has not drawn up a single other play. Now, if it works, it works. But like we gotta get a second play or a third play in. Like his ATO play is Maxey sprinting to the basket. Now listen. No, with a second left,
stop it. Like
we just talked about
all the plays.
It worked.
Regular season, we just talked about Detroit using all their trick plays. If it working, why do we got to use it? Same for the playoffs.
With a second left, it made sense because everyone and their mother thinks they're going to chuck a contested three or a deep three.
That play call was awesome, though.
So that was awesome. No, I loved it in that spot. But I'm thinking like every single timeout, it's Maxey sprinting. Like if it's the end of the game, they throw it in the backcourt, or no, that he gets in the backcourt and he sprints full speed and they throw it to him. Like you got to think of something else. Like maybe a fake one of that. Like you got to get a little more creative. It's the same play.
You think they can't run a play to Joel Embiid in those situations, and a double team comes, and you get a wide open Tyrese Maxey shot, or run a play to Paul George? But they have it. They've ran it. You act like they only run the one play.
I can't stop.
You can't think of it. They played a lot of games. You want to tape me? You want to tape?
Well, I'm just saying the Spurs. I remember the Spurs game that went to overtime. You should list the games. It's all Maxey.
Again, Spurs game wasn't Joel kicked out of that game?
He was.
I love how like
no,
is it this certain times in the game? Is this just out of timeouts we're talking about? Like is that what you're talking about? Just like
in the regular season,
every play call out of timeout has been a Tyrese Maxey. Like I can't wait the next Wednesday because I'm gonna.
No, hold on. I'm not talking about in the second quarter. I'm not talking about in the second quarter. I'm talking fourth quarter, 2-minute drill. It's every single time out of a timeout. That's the only thing he's ever drawn up.
Would you draw up something different?
If Embiid's getting doubled, like you said, somebody's open. And if we can trust Embiid, like you said, if you're putting trust in him to catch the ball 90 feet away from the basket in a full court press, why can't we trust him underneath our own basket or underneath their basket?
I don't know if anybody was trusting him there because it wasn't out of a timeout. I don't think that inbound was out of a timeout.
No, I'm saying, but like you said, you got to trust your big man. You got to trust your best player. So why can't we trust them under their basket? And get
I think we have a couple best players.
Listen, I don't think it's that big of. I'm just saying, if I'm an opposing coach, how do you not know that's coming? Like eventually, it's like when Justin Fields checks in for the Steelers, he's running
because they would rather because the best player in their eyes on the court is Joel Embiid. The second best player on the court in most opposing coaches' eyes will be Paul George. And the third best player on No. I'm talking. Hear me out for a second. I'm talking about just a lot of guys just hear names. Right? A lot of guys, when they're doing their homework, they just hear the name. So they hear Joel Embiid an MVP, they hear Paul George, his resume, and they know Tyrese Maxey's been great. But they always consider him probably the third guy. Or maybe in the 2-hole, right? But they're always gonna have Embiid over both. But I'm saying there's dry jock coaches out there too that hear PG and it's like, oh, we're gonna game plan and make sure he does not beat us too. Right? And if anybody beats us today, it's Tyrese Maxey. Right? And then he goes and beats you. You see it. Because he gets the one-on-ones, he gets the ISOs. He don't get the doubles ran at him. You guys watch it. PG gets doubles ran at him all the time. Right? Especially when it's him and Maxey. He'll get them ran at him. Right? More than Maxey gets them ran at him. And because there's dry jock coaches. And then obviously Embiid gets doubles more than anybody when he's playing with those two guys, right? So you just show that, like, nobody, like, the only time he gets doubled up is when he's by himself. Because then there's literally nobody else. He gets tripled. Like a boxing one. Like, they just run 3 guys at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for sake of conversation, you brought it up. Not really in a coach's eyes, just really as a fan's perspective, kind of different. Just for sake of conversation. Joel Embiid is our best player, but Tyrese Maxey is our number one option. And I think a lot of times people get those two things confused. At the end of a game, if it comes down to a shot, that goes to your number one option. That doesn't always go to your best player. Notice how LeBron never got the ball in those like Cavs Warriors series. Kyrie hit the shot. Very similar thing. LeBron's the best player on the team. Joel Embiid's the best player on the team. He'll impact it on, all realms of the floor, defense, rebounding, all that and the other thing. End of a game, I want the ball in Tyrese Maxey's hands. Very similar situation.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm a big man guy. I'm old school. I'm inside out, right? It's how you win. I understand the game's changed. It's a guard-driven league, right? For the most part, it's a perimeter-driven league. And I'm the most explosive player probably on the court in those types of situations, Luke and guys, right? And that's Tyrese Maxey. That's the difference maker here. That's the engine that goes. that's our engine because he's that quick. He's lightning. And I think when you have that kind of guy that can beat anybody in the NBA off the dribble, like to his right hand, think about that. I think a lot of times he goes right on guys too when they're trying to stop him from going right. That's how fast he is. Like I hate saying it, like when we talk about him, but it's Iverson quickness, right? And man, because that's what's going to be the difference maker. His growth. That's why I've always said, like that's why. Oh, you still watch Sixers? Yeah, because no matter what, they still have Tyrese Maxey. No matter what, they have a young up and coming star in this league. Wherever you want to rank him one day, if it's 10, if it's 8, if it's 5, I'm never going to say he's going to be the best player in the league. I'm not going to say that, right? But he's got a chance to be one of the better ones. So, and he's our game changer. So my bad. I'm just ranting and raving because whatever, it's fun. It's just fun to talk shop with you guys. Besides Greg about basketball because we're all usually on the same side of things, and I agree. Like I think we need a guard.
They're enjoyable again, right? They're enjoyable. Yeah.
And I agree too. Like you don't close games out with a center.
No, in today's league you don't. Like we've seen it with Joel. It's hard to win inside out anymore. It's just not the way the game's played for some reason.
And let him dominate in those. Let him dominate the glass. Let him dominate, rim protection. Let him do all that. That still is very, very, very valuable in winning games. And guess what? As much as the game won't go inside out, he'll still find a way to score 25 points, no matter what. So
and it's a pick and roll league, right? It's literally the NBA's a pick and roll.
He'll always have value, always.
So his ability in the pick and roll game, like let's be real here. Tyrese Maxey isn't Tyrese Maxey not playing with Paul George or Joel Embiid because the pick and roll game it doesn't work as well when you're pick and rolling with Kelly Oubre. When you're pick and rolling with, you get where I'm going with that? Like you need a partner in crime a Jokic and whoever, right? Murray, Porter, whoever they run it with, right? At different times, right? You need that. You need that other guy in the pick and roll game. It's so important in the league. That's all it's rat, right? So it's a Batman and Robin. You need both to be able to be successful in the league. And they have it with 3 different guys, which makes them even more chance to be more successful because they can run it with more options, which makes you have to game plan for more stuff, more guys' tendencies, etc. But whatever, at the end of the day, you see the difference when he's doing it with Embiid and PG. And listen, it's hard to defend, especially with Embiid, because Embiid can hit the 3, probably even better than PG can, right? If you're being real,
Definitely.
right? So you got to,
dude. Do you remember that stat from last year? It was my favorite stat of the whole. If you took away shots at the end of a shot clock, like the half court shots, he's a 45% 3-point shooter. Like, that's he always shoots them, always at the end of the clock, always.
And this season, I think I read that right on the graphic in the clutch time. He's 95% from the free throw line. It might be higher now this season.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean he hasn't played much, but he's 95% from the free throw line.
He's always been unbelievable. He's like Fisher Price net on it. You know what I mean? He's like think. It's nice being 7 foot. Like, like it's like
most centers get fouled in that situation where you're up 3 with 3 seconds or however much is left. And yeah.
He buries both.
Like
he's that good. I mean, we talk our shit, and that's always been my son. He said some things I don't like, and etc. But you can always forget. You can always come back and forgive. This needs to be a season of forgiving. He needs to go win, and I'm not even saying a championship, right? I'm not gonna put that on them, right? I just won't. But Eastern Conference Final minimum, right? And then we'll talk on whoever the matchup is, right? Before I let them give him a pass, per se, if they don't win it. But you need to get me there this year.
Well, if they get that 4-5, if they somehow get up to 4-5, then they would be matched up in the second round against number 1, which right now isn't Boston, but probably by the end of the year it will probably be them. So that would be second. Yeah, so that would be a second round against Boston.
And this is my hot take. I've been saying it from the beginning of the year to all my buddies. It's a hot take. Everyone freaks out about it, but NBA Cup means nothing, but they just won it. Milwaukee's my wild card. Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham stink. They're the only 2 people in the way. But Damian Lillard, besides that cup, he's won nothing in his career. He's hungry for a ring. They played together last year, so now they're playing again this year. Like they found the camaraderie and the chemistry. Like this, I think this is a sneaky Milwaukee team. So I think
he's too much in the way for me. I can't do it. I live too many of those days.
Boston, to me, as good as they are, I feel like they're going to break down. Porzingis is never healthy. Drew Holiday, the poor guy, hasn't had a breather. Like Derek White and Tatum playing in the Olympics. Like I think they're going to fizzle out and get hurt. Like you can't prey on injuries, but I just think
really
they do.
Good.
Yeah,
Knicks are really good.
Knicks are good, but they don't have
the Eastern Conference is really good though.
Yeah, Bucks are my wild.
I mean, a lot of people talk about it in details as they should, but Giannis really has only had one healthy postseason run his entire career. He won a ring, but he's never been healthy either. And come that time.
No, I mean, listen, we always match up good against him when Embiid plays, like throughout the career, because we have the size to play his game, which is downhill. He doesn't get the easy buckets like he gets against most teams playing downhill because of his size and his ability to get to the rim. Joel's always been able to like slow that down. Guys like Brook Lopez hit threes from fucking Green Bay, right? But
Bobby Portis doesn't miss.
Yeah, Bobby Portis doesn't miss, and other guys don't miss. But I always thought we were able to keep him in check for the most part, right? Contain, not stop, because he'll get his, right? But contain him. So
yeah,
but that's going to listen. That's a tough matchup. The Knicks would be a tough matchup. Obviously, Cleveland's a tough matchup. Boston's a tough matchup. But outside of that, I feel confident that I can beat everybody else. Orlando, I feel like we're better than.
Yeah.
I feel like we're better than Miami, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit, Chicago. I just think we're better than those teams. But
I'm not bought in on Cleveland at all either. I think any team that
I'm
plays
not bought in
defense,
Donovan Mitchell come postseason time because
any
he's a
team
perennial loser.
and in the
Donovan
regular
Mitchell.
season, besides Christmas Day yesterday, it's a bad example. Nobody's playing defense in the regular season. Maybe in the fourth quarter, but it's nonchalant defense. The Cavs are a team that brings it every night and puts effort in on the defensive side of the ball. Every single night, they try hard on defense. I just think come playoff time, everyone's matching their intensity. So it's just like they're going to fizz out, in my opinion. Like every year.
I like that though. But is there the other side of that where it's embedded in them and they're just that much better defensively than everybody else and they win because of it?
They could, but like a team like the Knicks are going to match it. I hope the Sixers match it. The Bucks will match it. If they get to the finals, the Thunder will match. Like, I don't know. Who knows? I'm just saying everyone's intensity is at that level. So it's just like,
no, you're not wrong. You're not
Well,
wrong.
you're
They're also they're totally different compared to the other contenders because like we have our best players at center. I understand that they don't have any wings at all. Like who they're bringing in Karis LeVert, good player. Would love to have him on our team, but he's not. Like, what wing are they throwing out that's going to shut down? Look past us, but like, how about if you go play New York in a 7-game series? Who's matching up with 7 games with their wings or Boston? Like, they're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Unless Mitchell's having 50, 60 every night.
Yeah, right. He would have to have 60 every night.
Yeah.
He's taking 60 shots though.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Garland's a pimp. So I will say this: like Darius Garland's
No, they have great players, but they're just it's very unorthodox what's going on today.
No, you're right. They don't have even against us. Like I don't think they have the wing guys to stop us. I don't think they have the defensive guys to slow us down. Defensively, I feel like they have the size and a little bit of rim protection to maybe control Joel a little bit. But I mean, he's so good offensively that he'll get his no matter what, no matter who he's playing against. So that doesn't faze me. Like New York doesn't have the size to play with Joel. They just don't. They have the wings. They have other really good things, and they're good. And Towns has never played well against Joel. So that's a series that makes me feel better than it did last year, per se, on what they ran out against us, which I thought would slow Joel down. Right? They had the matchups. Guys that were physical, etc. Boston to me doesn't have the size to slow him down. So there's teams that like that's going to matter if he's healthy and we're healthy. Like they don't have the size to slow him down. Like if you got a guy that you're guaranteeing 25, 30, no matter what you game plan him to do, but you have 2 other guys. Think about this. How important it is. You have 2 other guys that can get you 25 too. That's hard to beat. You saw it last night. It's hard to beat. So if it's PG, if it's Caleb Martin, if it's Kelly Oubre who has the ability to get 20, 25, right? There's other guys on this roster that have the ability to have a day. Right? And when you have that, because Embiid's a guarantee if he's playing. If he's playing, he's 25. Write it down. Just write it. We've always talked about that. But now you have 2 other guys. You have a guarantee in Maxey that he's probably going to get 25, right? You can almost write that in now too.
Yeah.
We're writing that in. So if you can get the 3rd, it's over. Not like we're cutting nets down, but like we're one of the better teams in the East. Just
hit open shots because they're going to be there. That was the difference yesterday. There was a moment where it was like 70-70 for like 2 straight minutes. We were getting stops and we couldn't hit an open shot. Caleb Martin went nuclear and he couldn't miss an open shot. If you just make open shots, that's really that 3rd guy comes down to the rest of the team just making open perimeter shots. It's really it.
And I hate
to pat myself on the back. I did say let's just get Joel in the Christmas game and we will be fine. We'll be fine. Let's just get him in that game, and the whole thing could look different. Like that was
all. Game before that too.
Yes,
so that San Antonio win's a really good win.
We
were talking about signature wins. I feel like on Sunday or one day, maybe last Wednesday, one day we were talking about signature wins with this team, and they just had 2 in the past 3 days. So
I'm glad you brought that up.
Antonio,
The
San
Spurs,
Antonio, and obviously Boston.
the Spurs game, as far as the team and they're 500, so it's not that big of a win with the players. But as far as the intensity of the Wells Fargo, that was the loudest the Wells Fargo Center has been in a while. And as bad as that ref was dealing with the adversity, like literally dealing with the adversity of Embiid getting tossed and then Drummond getting tossed and coming back and getting a standing ovation, it brought juice and life back to the state. Like, as stupid
She
as it
helped
sounds,
us.
like, we're all going to look back at the Christmas game and be like, this is when it started. It started with that Spurs game.
It did.
Like,
it did.
The intensity was back in the crowd. Like, there hasn't been life in that building in 2 months. There hasn't been life on the show about the Sixers in 2 months. I mean, you've been positive. I haven't. Like, look how far we've come. We were 2-12. You know what I mean? And now all of a sudden, this is what they do. We talked about it 2 months ago. They sucked us back in until they spit us back out. But right now, it's great to be back. It's great to be back. Like, we hung our,
we're
our Christmas banner.
17.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people are
back.
saying now, where were you when the vibes changed? It was when Drummond walked out, getting ejected, coming unejected. Where were you?
You're beating Wemby, and you're beating Wemby
It's
without
so bad.
Joel. Like, that's why that was a big win, because you beat Wemby without Joel, right? It brought life to that game too, right? Because, you know, if you have Joel, it's obviously there's life in that game. But him getting kicked out, you lose him. You're right. That's when the vibe changed. It was like fighting for each other. Because then you go out and you win that game, you're fighting for your brother, right? You always talk about that. Even if it's a coach, if it's a player, whatever, go fight for your brother. Eagles didn't do that for CJ GJ, but Sixers obviously did it in this situation. And listen, man, there hasn't been life. Even if I was like, oh, you know, if these guys all play, maybe things can be different. But there wasn't life from anybody, right? Buckets, like there really wasn't. And now there's a little juice, even though we're 11-17. But it's the way we played. We knew it wasn't going to be overnight. You're 500. You got to go on these stretches. You needed a 20 out of 24, right? We talked about it. You know, a 22 out of 28 get you back in the conversation. You just need a run.
This stretch is crucial, though. They're the West Coast. Yep. They're about to go on their West Coast trip. This is crucial.
I think you need. Well, let me look it up.
Wembanyama.
It's this trip right now. It's right here.
I want to look up the schedule if you don't have it. If you already have
it. Yeah, no, I got it. We're at Utah on Saturday night, at Portland Monday night.
Time? Give me time. Oh, I love times here because I'm a late.
9:30, 10 o'clock. 9:30 at Utah, 10 o'clock at Portland.
On Monday.
Then we are at Sacramento, 10 o'clock Wednesday. Ooh, some live reaction. And we are at Golden State that Thursday, TNT, 10 o'clock. At Brooklyn to end the trip. That Saturday at 6 o'clock.
Oh, go. So how many games is that?
1, 2, 3, 5, I think.
5?
Yeah, 5. Honestly 4-1 because there's some really bad teams on this schedule. Like Utah's bad, Portland's bad.
Yeah.
Sacramento's been bad. Golden State, I'll give you that loss, and then Brooklyn's horrible
bad too, though.
Golden State, yeah, but I'll give them that. Like if they lose one, and I'm fine. That's fine. Steph has 40, like fine.
Who do they play on that Wednesday night?
Sacramento. That's a back-to-back too. So Joel
probably doesn't play Wednesday night.
Probably not.
He's gonna play in the Golden State game.
I got 2 random thoughts I just want to get off my head. So if it gets clipped, it gets clipped. Wembanyama, get your ass under the basket. He took 16 threes yesterday. Are you a jackass? 16 threes. You're 7'5". Get your ass under the basket. That's where the game's gone. And then number 2, that Spurs game against the Sixers a couple of days ago. Like, I'm all for it. You want to have female referees. It is what it is. Like, I'm not being sexist, but like, guys get in the faces of referees and scream at them all the time. And once you get your first tee, that costs a guy money. So you get your money's worth. And usually they'll give you 30 more seconds to get your money's worth. That was such a quick ejection. I'm not saying he didn't deserve a technical, but because it was a female, it was instant interrogation. He's gone. No. That's just the fact of the matter. If that was Tony Brothers, if that was Tony Brothers or anybody else, he gets his money's worth after the tee and doesn't get tossed.
I'm way more mad about the Drummond thing because it's one thing that it didn't even happen. The other thing, if it did happen, he didn't have a technical before that. You were willing to give him say it did happen. Say they were getting a little shoving match and Wemby fell down. You were willing to give a guy 2 technicals off that?
Well,
what? And eject him from a game?
Think about this. You were willing to go out and do all that for Wemby, right? Like you were willing to go out and do all that for Wemby, but when it comes to Joel, you're gonna have a quick trigger. That doesn't add up. And what else doesn't add up is after Drummond came back, she went over to Nick Nurse. And she's like, "Oh, I fucked up." Like okay, we know you did. Like everybody in the country that was watching the game on ESPN knew you fucked up. Okay, so again, I have no problem with females that want to do anything they want to do, right? I'm not against any of it. But you can't have the quick trigger then. Make sense? Like, I don't think any referee that's great at their job should be quick trigger at the professional level unless it's a guy that it's like a Draymond, right? Where, like, he has a reputation or did, right? Back in the day, even more than today, right? But back in the day when he really had his reputation, I get that kind of stuff, right? I get it. But when you're talking about most guys, like Joel doesn't have a reputation of getting tossed.
Yeah.
So, he's frustrated about something, gets in your face, and you're quick to throw him out. I think it's bullshit.
It wasn't even a foul.
Because does she not?
It wasn't even a foul.
No.
Does she not know what she's doing either? Like, how many times is Wembanyama versus Embiid at the Wells Fargo Center happening? It might happen only 2 or 3 more times in our life. Like, it's like with Embiid's health and how often they come here. They come here, once a year? Like, Embiid versus Wembanyama at the Fargo. That's happening, if we're lucky, 2 or 3 more times.
Well, I almost bought tickets to that game with my dad and Cass. Like, you know what? Wemby and Embiid, he probably plays that game. It's a game before Christmas. It's not a back-to-back. It's like a warm-upper for them. And I'm glad I didn't, even though it would have been a great game to watch. It was a great game to watch regardless. But to your point, how many people NBA ratings down, right? Arenas and outside arenas because of guys not playing, right? Or the fact of the NBA, the refereeing. And
it's not even ejected. It's not ejecting. Like, that was a case of ejecting, but in terms of an overall problem that they have, it's not ejecting. It's reviewing. Yeah. What do? You don't got to review everything. Yeah. It's a
not
joke,
even that, Luke. It's not even that. It's like the fundamentals of the game are gone.
No, I'm saying reviewing, like, for flagrants.
I get all that. I get all that. Forget all that. The ratings are down because the fundamentals of the game are gone. Like, it's a 3-point contest.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Like what Golden State did through their stretch was an elite thing. It was elite. Like Clay and Steph, nobody was better. Nobody was better. And nobody in the history, and there will be a guy who will be better than Steph at some point, right? That probably Cass will grow up with. But nobody was better than him in his prime. And nobody did it better than Golden State. And I understand the copycat. I get it. But the whole league, and I love guys who change the league for the better, right? I love it. There's been a lot of players who have. Okay? They essentially, even though I love what they did, right? They essentially changed the league for the worse.
Yeah.
Because that's what it turned into.
Clip this for me.
Yeah,
NBA
AI
ratings,
does that. So just call them out. Just say, hey.
AI, clip it. Hey, Alexa, clip this. Ready? NBA ratings are down because everybody in the league is buddy-buddy. Everybody's best friends, dapping each other up, going to weddings, hanging out with parties. There are no more rivalries. We're talking about Golden State, how they changed the league with the 3-pointers, and they were on an elite run that'll never be replicated. But also everyone hated them. And especially the hate came double down once Kevin Durant joined the team.
Yeah.
It was nothing but hate. You were watching rivalries. You were watching no buddy-buddy basketball. Now, I know they just played the Olympics together, but before that game, and they're about to retire, so they're trying to soak in the moment, but LeBron's fake blocking Curry's shot. They're dapping each other up, hugging at half court. There's no rivalries anymore. And like you said, Tom, they're just going out there playing basketball. There is no more fundamentals. They're playing accidental basketball. which means they're dribbling around, and if somebody's open, oh, he's open. There is no planning. It's accidental basketball, and everybody in the league is buddy-buddy. And that's what happened with Joel Embiid, because when he came into the league, he was one of the most electric MFers to ever play the game of basketball, because he would call you a pussy, and he would go out there and dominate every single time. The best players in the world, he would say, that guy is a nobody, and he would dominate him. And now he's so worried about his image and his likeness and being cool with the circle of the stars in the league, and everybody's buddy-buddy. And that's why the ratings are – because there's zero rivalries. Give me the best rivalry in the NBA right now.
None.
There's zero.
Probably us, honestly. We've been getting
Give me the
destroyed.
best rivalry in NFL. You use that same argument in the NFL as well.
Yeah, it might be because of social media that the players have to have each other's backs now.
Well, I think listen,
Well, they're all training together, right?
Rivalries were different back then because it was a more physical sport. Like even like if you go back to the early 2000s, right? And you talk about even that style of basketball, it was more physical defensively. It was more get to the basket, get to the free throw line, right? You know, shoot. Yeah, 3-point game was still a part of it. It was a part of the game, right? It's been a part of the game for a long, long time. But it's always been about higher percentages. Mm-hmm. And how do you win? You win inside out. You win getting to the free throw line. You win protecting your own rim, etc. And you win by like a guard being able to, like we talked about, handle the basketball in those situations. Like your main guard in that 2-minute drill, being able to be that good to get you out of it, right? No matter who else you have on the court with you, he's that good to get open, break a double team, get open, and be able to dribble and have the fundamentals to get up the court every time. It's lost for a majority of guys. It is. You have big guys who want to shoot the 3-ball, but you know they don't dribble at an elite level. So why but you're away from the basket? It's just a product. The product was sold on physicality, guys going to the rim and hard fouls and just different shit like that, right? Which created rivalries. You don't have it because none of that shit's around. It's a Jacket 3 party. You're on the Wildwood Boardwalk. Everybody's shooting for the prize. Like, what fun is that to watch? That's what it is.
Stuffed animal.
Like, the reason I think we still like the Sixers is we don't like, I don't know if we really settle for the 3-ball on a nightly basis.
And that might be the problem.
You know what I mean? But it's crazy. Like somebody's got to change the league. Like, I don't know how you do it.
Everybody's best friends.
Thought we were the ones, right?
Like, guys like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards was like one of the few trash talkers left. Then he played on the Olympics. Now he's best friends with all these guys. Yeah. Like I get it's natural, but like there's no rivalry. There is zero like screw you. Like there's
I can be your best friend. I can be your best friend and want to go take your lunch money at the same time.
That's Anthony Edwards though. That's where I kind of give him a pass. Like he'll buddy you up, but on the court, he's gonna want to kick your ass. That's what he said. He like Durant. He's like Kevin Durant. I looked up to him. He's my idol. But I told him when we stepped on the court in that playoff series, like we're gonna sweep you.
Yeah, and that's why he's one of the most liked players in the league. Like he's a rarity. Like he's a rare. There's not enough of that anymore.
Yeah.
No, him and Embiid are still good for the league in ways because Embiid, when he does play, will still play with that physicality. Right, that's that brand, that toughness. Like Anthony Edwards, same type of guy, except he doesn't get hurt like that. But he's physical. Like everything he does is physical, like aggressive. There's not enough of that style of play. SGA is a guard. It brings that same type of like real fundamental game too, like real fundamentally sound. It can dribble the basketball at a high level. Like there's still guys. Don't get me wrong. Like we have a guy in Paul George, same type of player, right? That can dribble at a high level, right? Like fundamentally sound with his handles. It's just, to me, there's not enough of that. And there's not enough of guys like Tyrese Maxey, per se, that still shoots threes, maybe too many. Because if the NBA gave more around the basket, more incentive to go to the basket, like even James Harden days, like they shot a ton of threes. But he went to the basket more. He went to the line more than anybody. He was just going to the rim.
They played a playoff game where they missed 27 straight threes in a row.
Yeah. And Don just said, "What about Draymond?" First of all, I love Draymond, but the league's trying to shun him out and knock that behavior off. And I just think it's bad. It's like they think it's good for the image of the league, but really it's bad for ratings. That's why hockey's I don't watch hockey, but it's just hilarious to me. Like 5 minutes in, you could fight and all you get is 5 minutes. You could fist fight, center ice. You get 5 minute timeout. All good. Meanwhile, you dunk on somebody, you stare him down, and you're out of here. You can't even look at him. You can't even lock eyes with the guy you just dunked on.
Yup, in the NFL, you can't talk. Yeah. Obviously. We
learned No guns.
We learned that Sunday, so no talking.
Can't punk people in baseball anymore. You're out.
Yeah, dude, even baseball, which is my favorite thing. Like, you want to talk about ruined and America's pastime completely stolen from us. It's the same type of thing. Like, you want to cater to people who don't watch the sport. Stop catering to people who don't watch the sport. The NBA did the same thing. They catered to viewers that love Golden State that didn't watch the sport on a nightly basis. So you're catering to that like front runner group that really doesn't give a shit. Like, stop catering to that group. Hockey's never catered to another group but hockey fans.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they might not have the best ratings because it's a niche sport, right? It's not played enough where enough people relate to it, right? Where everybody can say, oh, I play baseball, right? Oh, at some point I played basketball at some point, right? People can always say that. They can play basketball with or football with their buddies. Yep. Even if they didn't play in like high school, they can at least say they play. How many people will say, oh, I stepped on the rink? You know what I mean? I was skating around. You know what I mean?
Especially today, like there's not even like street hockey or pickup anymore like we had when we were kids.
Yeah, street hockey's still going though. Street hockey's still a thing.
Yeah.
They still play
is it still played a lot?
Yeah, it is actually.
Okay. Younger, yeah.
That's good to hear that.
A lot of towns still have it.
Oh, I love that.
Like I know Marlton still does theirs at a high level.
Yeah, South Jersey, it's big.
Yeah,
you just don't see people on the corner anymore. Like street hockey's awesome, but like when I was growing up, we do it right on the corner with rollerblades.
Right? Yeah, that's where I was.
Mike,
going.
you're young too. Like, I mean, I didn't think your generation even was doing that, which is great to know because like that's where we lived. Me and Greg lived outside. Like we lived putting the blades on out front.
Depending on the season is whatever game we were playing.
Yeah,
I put my brother in the goalie pads and we'd fire at him.
Loved it. My dad used to go in the pads at times. He was good too. He could get post to post. You know what I mean?
Big T.
Yeah, he was able to get post to post on a good slide across.
Better wear your cup.
But I missed those
up.
days.
Oh, dude, nothing better.
Better.
I drove by. It's called Holy Maternity in Audubon, right? But there's a little mini like T-ball field there. But in the outfield, we used to play football.
Okay.
All the time. I drove by it. It's like, man, everything looks like a little smaller, right? Yeah. than what you imagine. But yeah, it's crazy. You miss those days for sure. Good times. But yeah, great show, boys.
Shout out Shake Milton while we get out. 20 points tonight. 14 in the fourth. Gotta shout out.
Shake and bake. There's our ball handler. Go get him.
Go get a ball handler. Which we probably won't do.
No.
And now somebody asked earlier, real quick before we get Jeremy Kane's out for the year, right?
Yeah.
I hope not. I don't know.
It's weird because it's normally an injury where you're not out for the year, but he said that he is out for the year. So it's kind of weird. And the team never said that he is out for the year. So I guess it's kind of like a we'll see. But if he's saying he is, then I guess he is. I don't know.
I want a Law and Order episode.
I was gonna say, here come all the people like he's soft and like
was he just perked up? You know what I mean? Just doesn't got like delirious.
Law and Order episode of our medical staff. Our medical staff needs to be a whole episode about it. Needs to get taken to court.
Oh, is it the same medical staff that it's been for a decade?
No, they fired him at some point. Don't remember how long ago, but
that's what I thought. Like I didn't think it was the same medical staff.
It's not, but whoever they keep bringing in. Yeah.
It's the guy. It's the HR people. You know what I mean? It's whoever's doing the hiring and firing over there. We need to do a fucking better job. I don't know what to tell people. Some people just checking in. Some people just clocking in. Just clock in and they just want to get through the day. And then there's people who want to, want to hire to make a difference here. Right? We just checked in for a fucking decade. That's all we did. We checked in with our medical staff. Hey, just hire the cheapest guys.
And Embiid will be doubtful for 3 weeks, doesn't play, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's playing 10 minutes before the game.
We'll draft 5 guys with foot injuries.
He'll fall over. He'll fall
They're
over.
7 foot.
We fed not Landry Shamet, Zaire Smith. We almost killed him.
Yep, we gave him peanuts on a flight. Hey,
Joel falls over the most flimsiest guardrail of all time.
Ew, why is there? We didn't even talk about that. Why the hell is there a rope like anywhere near Joel Embiid? Like, why? What the hell is that? There's no rope at the Fargo. Like, what is there a rope?
He did kind of sell the fall, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but kind of.
I feel like he does shit on purpose like that. I feel like he did that on purpose.
He's a drama queen, dude. I'm not looking that much into it.
Like, look at me. Look at me on Christmas Day. Joel Embiid might not play. Before a game starts.
Oh, I'm playing through an injury. I saw something. It's like, if it wasn't Christmas, I don't know if I would have played. Or I don't think he said. I think the team. So I don't know if he would have played. It might have been Nick Nurse. I don't know if he would have played after that if it weren't Christmas.
Tom and Greg are 5 years deep.
Off.
If they really want to go on the court, that little rope ain't stopping them. But apparently, it's stopping them. Like what is that rope up there for? Like if some crazy fan, like you could run on the court easily. What the hell is that rope doing?
Oh yeah, like that rope ain't stopping anybody from jumping on them. Like you can't hurdle a foot.
Yeah, like apparently Embiid can't.
I look like Usain Bolt running the 100-meter hurdle, like hurdling that thing. Like that's how low that is. Like stop.
Like what? I don't know why that was even out there.
Usain and me, or I ran a 4.75. My highest 40. So it's pretty fast.
4.75.
Yeah, 200 pounds, 6'1". Granted, my my ethnic background. I think it's pretty fast. Like semi-exciting white. Not full exciting white. Like we're not gonna do t-shirts for me, but like close. We get that down some tenths. Or we get that down. We could get that to 4.4. Now we're talking exciting white.
Now we're talking about t-shirts.
Yeah. 4.75, like cool in high school. Like, hey, I could run a little bit. You know what I mean? I always tell kids all the time, like, dude, all I did was when I started squatting, I started learning how to run faster, and I ran cross country. It helped me. Like those 2 things helped me. Like just running cross country, learn how to run. You know what I mean? You would like laugh cross country. I did it, and then I started playing football. I did that for a year, and then I went back to football. Like I did my sophomore year, and I went back to football. I'm like, I gotta get quicker. But yeah, I don't know where that came from. Probably because it's 12 o'clock. So, college football predictions before we get out of here. Quickly.
We are. Let's go.
I don't watch college football at all.
I go pretty chalk to this weekend. Penn State, Texas, Oregon, Georgia.
With you completely. I actually think that Notre Dame has definitely a chance. But I'm kind of. I'm leaning with you. Just Kirby. You can't. Kirby Smart in the playoffs. I'm gonna take it.
I don't know that you cannot be able to throw the football against Georgia and expect to put up any points.
I mean, yeah, I'm with that. I'm in agreement.
All right, a couple of things. Penn State wins. Boise covers. Texas wins. I'll take Arizona State to cover.
What's that spread?
13.5.
Ooh,
yeah, it's probably
That's a lot.
I love Arizona State.
I'll take
Scatterboro. Yeah, Scatterboro probably keeps it close.
And Texas doesn't score a bunch of points.
No, they got the ability to blow you out, right? We know that.
Yeah.
So where that's like that line's big. It's like Boise line's big with Penn State, but Boise wants to control the clock. They want to run the football. I think when you want to do those types of things, you might lose by 10. You might lose by 7 in a game where you don't feel like they're in it. But it's this time of the year too. Like these are like the second round of this. Like these teams are better, right?
Yeah.
You assume they're all better. And
not the teams that got buys though. I actually think that some of them are worse than
Yeah.
the teams that lost last week.
Yeah, I don't think Boise's one of them, but Arizona State might be.
And can I? Now that we're on this for just 2 seconds, I was at that Penn State game. I'm at that Penn State game. The committee, you need to get the hell be uninvolved. I'm at that game. It is unlike any game day experience I've been at. Not in a good way, but honestly in a bad way. Because instead of saying let's have these home teams have home games, they're saying you can have your game in Beaver Stadium, but in terms of what the game day experience is going to be like, and video production, music, all that kind of wise, unlike it's not the same. If you're going to let teams have home games, let them have home games. Don't
have home games.
Yeah, don't try to put your 2 cents into it. It's not.
If you want to control anything, just control the tickets, right?
Right. Yeah, I totally understand. That's totally fine. I totally understand to do that. I'm with you on that one. But to if you're going to let Penn State and Texas and all these schools have home playoff games, let them do the thing. Don't step in with your production and this, that. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. I'm with you.
So
it totally took away from the experience being there. It was not. Hopefully they change it.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's stupid. Oh, Ohio State, Oregon.
Shout out to Sean Jackson.
Yeah,
State,
shout out.
baby.
Is it official?
Cool. Yeah, it's official. Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't know Deshaun could coach.
No, he can't.
either.
But Deion Sanders started a whole scary wave.
Yeah, Mike, you're right on point, Ben. Yeah, I mean,
Well, I'll be honest. How could you not do that if you're a smaller school, though?
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
why not?
The
very least, you stink, but you get a ton of engagement that you would have never had. So,
especially like Mike Vick too.
It's Nick Sirianni, except you're a bigger name. Does that make sense? Like you're just overseeing. You hire great coaches around you. Guys who really can control your defense, can control your offense, and now you're just overseeing, right? You're just walking the room. You're kissing babies. You're recruiting. You're really relying on your guys to coach up, right? You're there to be the face and get guys in the door. It's changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it is. And with the new rules, with the new JUCO rules too, those types of schools, that's what they're there for almost. Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like the Sirianni comp. 2 guys that played receiver and might not have any idea how to coach.
I just didn't realize that he had any aspirations. I hope he does well. I always want to see D-Jax do well.
Yeah, it came a long way, but I like a school like that. Like, one, giving a guy a chance because, I'm not talking for Deshaun, but seems like a guy who probably spent a lot of money. So, I'm just guessing. But
he's got the podcast now, though. He's bringing in some coin.
He's coming back. I like when guys. I like when guys are able to have a career after their career. Like it's always great. It's good to see because it helps you, right? Just as guy who played sports in high school and college, like when you stop, it's hard. The adjustment's always hard, but when you can jump right back in it, it's great. I jumped into this like a decade after playing sports, but it was that reason. You know what I mean? Like for all of us, especially when it comes to a point where you really can't play anymore at all. Oh, so I say Oregon. I like Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's good.
I don't like Ohio State. Period. I hate them. And I like Oregon getting 2.5 as the number 1 team in the country.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
crazy.
I love that. This Ohio State love I don't get. I think Oregon's a better coached football team.
100%.
I think they're a better recruited football team. I think on paper they have more talent than Ohio State does, and they definitely have more talent at the most important position when you're talking about this time of the year, and that's the quarterback position. So,
absolutely.
It looks like easy money. You know how that goes. Probably not. And the last game of the night. This is all Wednesday. No, because Penn State Boise's Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah, only Tuesday game.
The rest are all New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, Georgia to wrap your night off, 8:45. Georgia, Notre Dame the 7, Georgia the 2 seed, Georgia -2 in this game. Listen, Georgia's good, man. When you're playing another quarterback, I just don't know enough. When I don't know enough, I'm probably just going to go Notre Dame, and I don't like Notre Dame at all. I'm rooting for Notre Dame
Been
to lose.
almost a month though, so
It's a lot of time.
Been almost a month to get I forget his name already, but
That's an awesome name too.
John Stockton. I think it's Gunnar Stockton, but
Gunner. It's Gunner.
Yeah, Gunner. Shoot, I'm trying to find
Stockton.
it. Yeah, I think you're right. Wait,
It's about time
Definitely
for Mikey.
isn't.
About time for Mikey's 6-packs.
Gunner Stockton. Yeah,
Gunner
Yeah.
Stockton.
Definitely isn't Carson Beck.
no.
No,
But
I mean
the ugliest
it's hard
dude
to
ever.
it's hard to be that as a sophomore too.
Well, I'm looking at they were going in that SEC title game. They were down. I mean, what? It was 6-3. It's not like they were coming back from anything absurd, but like they looked way better in the second half than they did in the first half
Yeah.
with him at quarterback.
Listen, they got playmakers all over too. I mean, we know Kirby Smart's defense is always going to come to play.
That's the end of the discussion in my eyes. I don't see how Marcus Freeman. I respected him. He built that program.
Notre Dame.
Yeah,
Fuck
he
Notre
built
Dame.
that. He deserves respect,
back.
but Kirby
I'm
Smart
back.
should coach circles around him.
I do like Marcus Freeman. I do. Obviously better than the loser there prior to him. He's a loser everywhere he goes.
I love it.
Greg, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of licking my chops at this side of the bracket. It's not good. I have way too much confidence.
I hear you.
I hear you. It's not.
Well,
Yeah, it's
listen,
not good.
you better stop the run.
Big game.
You better stop the run.
Right? You know what I mean?
No, it ain't James letdown here. It's can you stop the run?
I don't even think it's that. This guy has never played.
They can't stop the run. They can't stop the run.
Yeah, and everyone brings up this Oregon game that they lost by 3 points. If we remember, in the beginning, Oregon was looked at as in the beginning of the year as one of the most disappointing teams. They were horrible in the beginning of the year. It took them a while to really get going.
Yeah.
Like they were not the same team then. They haven't played anybody to our caliber. Like nobody. I think that are they even better than SMU?
Who?
I don't even Boise
State? No, I think they're better than SMU.
It's very
But
close.
It's not drastically better.
No.
Listen, I'll say it to you again. He's that good of a back. And it's you know how this game works, right?
Yeah.
A bad turnover, right, etc.
Drew Howard definitely has to look better than he did the other day.
You got to
That's
control
for
the ball.
sure.
So
that's key to the game. They have one of the worst.
I love you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to lose this game. I don't want you to be too overconfident going in. All right. I just want you to. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm in it with you guys. I'm here with you. I just want you to know, Luke, you've done some things. Greg, you've done some things, right? Noah's had his fingerprints a little bit on it, but more you two guys, and I'm in it with you. I'm here. All right. I had to get over some scandals. You know, I had to get over some things personally, but I'm officially on the wagon with you guys.
So I appreciate it.
I should start saying we. I shouldn't start saying you guys. You know what I mean? I start saying we got to stop the run. Because if he runs the football at like that Oregon game, he ran the football. Like, you know, he ran for 190 or 176 and 3 touchdowns. Like
I kind of look at it the other way. I think he's going to run the ball on anybody and anywhere. If you can throw the ball, you're going to beat them, no doubt. I just listened to somebody yesterday.
Can he throw the ball enough?
Who? Aller?
I think he'll throw the ball better in better conditions.
He's supposed. Yeah, I think that had a huge impact in the game. He's going to be next year a first round pick in the NFL. So he's. I know. He's a beast.
My point was, I don't really count last week because.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Greg, we left this out of it when you brought it up about him. I mean, dude, that was like 19 degrees.
Yeah.
Like
the guy behind me, sitting in the stands behind me, is not wearing anything.
Oh my god!
By the second quarter, purple, head to toe, head to toe. I almost went with the overalls, but I'm like, you know what? James Franklin does not deserve that.
No, and what a moron! Like this is what I say. Like the shirtless guys are morons. I'll say this too. Like if you're painting your face, I don't know where these guys like. I'll just say it out loud. There's guys that go to. There's this crew that goes to Eagles games, and they're like famous.
Oh, the older guy, like the pros or whatever. I'm with you there. The college kids, I see it a lot.
No, the college campus is a different environment.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're not talking about the college campus. But the shirtless guys at the college campus are morons. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're shirtless in cold weather, you're an idiot. All right. That's just, I'm sorry, I can't do it. If it's under a certain degree, get a clue. Right. Like if
I had the overall, technically, I'm sleeveless, but I got the overalls on.
Yeah, but what
I always
degree?
wonder when the
What
camera
weather?
cuts. When the
What weather?
camera
You doing
cuts
that
to
at
those people.
19?
Oh, no, I didn't do it in that game. I'd probably like 30.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about under a certain degree, get a clue. Like when
Yeah.
you're going to turn purple, don't be a
You're
moron.
gonna die.
Yeah, if it's like right under freezing, like 30, 32, you're good. You're good. You're good for a couple hours. You know what I mean?
I
It
always
won't
wondered,
get-
like the people who get their face painted and shirts off and all these crazy outfits. Like, do their bosses see them? Like, because they're on TV all the time. It's like,
No, you can't even tell where they are.
I know,
I
but
don't know
like,
if these guys work. I think these guys get like endorsements somehow. Like I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, like the Philly sports strips guy.
Yeah, like that guy for
the one guy, the 300
If
Club's getting
you're-
documentaries on Netflix.
like this circle of guys, this circle jerk.
I didn't think about that at all.
There's a circle jerk on the internet of this group of guys here. That's all somehow a circle jerk of connectivity here with all these guys. Outside of one guy, there's one guy I like. There's one guy who wears the pads and etc. He's an old school guy. I like that guy. All right, he's a good guy. And I still would never do that, but I still like that guy. I think he's a good guy. This newer crew of the face paint, right? Or lookalikes. These guys trying to be lookalikes out there. There's a lot going on with this crew. And then the biggest jackass of all Philly sports talk ever is with E-Rock, that loser.
Yeah.
That production company fraud. Okay. Everything's a goddamn look at me production. It's a joke. I don't know how these guys are like getting these ins with getting every game and endorsements. And it's like,
Yeah, do you
how
remember
can-
the Sixers guy that would take? He hasn't been there in years,
Oh.
but he would take his shirt off. He sat behind the basket.
yeah.
and
Oh, I
everyone-
love
everyone
that
go-
guy.
The jumbotron, everyone would go crazy. What happened to that guy? Did he die?
Yeah. What happened to that guy? Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
That guy had tickets to every game too. He was 500 pounds, so he was awarded tickets to every game behind the
Yeah.
basket if he took his shirt off.
But you guys
He
get what
was
I'm saying?
awesome.
Isn't that weird? to you?
Yeah.
Like the guy's got a podcast and your face painted and you go everywhere and it's like it's like I can call you a clown. You know what I mean? Like don't call me a clown. Like I call you a clown now. Like you're dressing up like a clown. Like it's just I don't know. Am I the only guy? Am I on an island? Because if I am, that's fine.
And,
And, I just think it's
they don't
weird.
miss an event either. Like it'll
Yeah,
be
it's
like
weird.
Chicky and Pete's night for 94.1 WIP.
Yeah,
They're
you're
at Chicky
there.
and Pete's in Belmar, and they're there.
Yeah, you
They
get a
miss it.
helicopter everywhere. These guys were everywhere. Like I'm not even taking shots at these guys as much as like the face paint I'm out on. You know what I mean? Like if you're face painting and you're everybody's getting pictures with the guy, like he's famous. Like what are we talking about? This guy didn't. He's not. He doesn't work for the. He doesn't work for the teams. Like how's
They're at the combine. They're at the draft. Like they're
yeah, like
everywhere.
how these guys everywhere? They're everywhere. Like how you got the money to be everywhere? Like who's paying you to be everywhere? Like, am I the only person? And you got a podcast? And it's like, how you got a podcast? What do you got a podcast? The guy was doing it the other day. They were on their way to Washington. He was doing the podcast in the bus on his phone. Like, are we okay? And like, are you that much of a fan? Like, I think I'm pretty diehard. Like, I've gotten grounded off of losses when I was younger. Tommy Hutton comes to mind, dropping the snap in Dallas with a field goal for the win. You guys are too young for that.
Yeah.
Luke and Mike, but me and Greg get it. I got grounded for that loss when I was like 12. So, like, you know, I'm a diehard, man. It kills my weeks. It's done a lot of damage to me throughout my career of an Eagles fan. All right?
I'm not
That
dumping a
being-
bucket of paint on my face for it though.
Yeah, like there's limits to this shit, right? Like, there's limits. Like, look at me. That's what it is to me. Look at me. Everybody, hey, I'm here. I'm going to stand out because I'm a loser, probably. I'm just being honest. Like, that perception is reality. Well, that's the reality, probably. And I'm sorry if I offend anybody tonight, because at this point in my career in this game, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care enough. I don't care enough for you to like me. I'm not trying to make friends with anybody. I started to say from the beginning, that's not what I'm in it for. I'm not in it to be buddy with the whole getting in with the crew like we're in high school. Like, everybody go to the game. We got a ton of money to spend. Everybody tailgate it. Act like we know the players. Be at every event. Be at a book signing. Like people are there for you to
Fight
sign
Mike
something.
Scott in the parking lot.
Yeah, like, come.
Oh, dude, I was there for that top tier experience in my entire life, probably. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah. I actually saw that happen. It was unbelievable. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Don, I have to, Don. There's limits. There's levels. If it wasn't look at me so much, like I said, there's another gentleman who did this for a long time. And I think he's a class act. I don't think he ever made it look at me. Right? Even though he had the shoulder pads and all that, right? I didn't look at it as deep as that. This guy, the new guy looking me guy.
Oh, and the Sixers 6-man, Alan Horowitz, prayers up for him because it looks like he's going to pass out at every game.
He made the Hall of Fame. Congrats.
Thank goodness, because he is like, he's looking down. Like, if you watch, like, I'm just, I got nothing else to do. I'm looking at Nick Nurse, I'm watching all these games in depth. He is literally like eating ice cream, falling asleep, going like this. Like, I'm like,
with his glasses on, yeah.
Yeah, you guys made me feel a certain type of way. Like, Luke didn't, but you guys make me feel like maybe Mike didn't either. I don't know where Greg stands. But Greg's making me feel a certain type of way. Like, he's not in agreement. He's not in agreement. He agrees with.
I just don't care about it. It just doesn't affect me.
I care about what's in front of my face all the time, Greg.
And I like to travel to games, so I feel like I might be getting called out here.
You like to what?
I like to travel to games.
No, that's not the point. I would love to. You want to go to a game, Greg? You know what I mean? If I had stupid money, I'll go to games with you all the time.
Yeah, but you're not at the NovaCare Center with a field pass.
Yeah.
Like, how do these guys get everywhere?
Tuesday at 11, they got signs out front. Like offering guys coffee. Like, I don't understand how we find the time to be everywhere and be at every game, and then we're somehow in Utah, the Flyers, and then at an Eagles game in LA. Like, it's just like, wow, okay. And then I got to get the camera on them at the game of the Flyers. Like, is this fucking real life? You know what I mean? Like, this is now we're out of line.
And you got to be there for day 3 of the NFL draft, obviously, of course.
Yeah, just to be looking at me. I'm front and center.
Yeah.
To me, it wears you out.
They went to London for the Phillies game.
Yeah, and then you're a Phillies fan. No, you're not. And then we got a podcast, and it became, and then we're getting pictures, and like we're famous.
I think devil's advocate, if you start painting your face, I think we might make the conference finals. I think that might happen.
Well, we would make a lot more money here. I'll tell you that.
Make the conference finals. Tom's got to paint his face.
You know
I like it.
I'm disgruntled, right? Maybe it's
we'll do a live reaction with you painting your face.
Tom's just going to keep it 100. I never lied to the people, right? Does it bother me? Like Greg said, not really. You know what bothers me is I put 10 years into this. 10 years into this, and I think I'm pretty good at what I do. And I think the guys that I've surrounded myself with are good at what they do, or they want to be doing it, right? And we don't get those luxuries. We don't get those viewerships. But we got guys like E-Rock that puts up a stage fucking production with Santa that's getting viewed. Look at me, jerk off. I'm a jerk off. I'm not even a real Eagles fan. You know what I mean? I think it's we're hand-me-downs. Grow up, Peter Pan. The loser, right? And then I got face painters. Like they're more diehard than guys who grinded their what's off here. So and built something that's for real and not fake. So yeah, there is this. I'm disgruntled a little bit by it. I think it's a fake way of cutting people off. Right? You want to cut me off when I'm going 85, babe? I'm gonna come find you. I'm gonna let you know how good I am behind the wheel too. If there's no kids in the car, you understand? So it's the same thing here. Same thing here. A lot of shortcuts. A lot of shortcuts that I'm famous. I never wanted to be famous, but I don't like when guys shortcut it. That's just my thing.
I mean, yeah, if you said Hawk Tua spit on that thing, you'd be a friggin' you'd be on ESPN.
And I don't care. Again, I didn't start to be famous. I started to build something where we have an outlet. Right. And if we become famous one day, or somebody gives up, let's just look at the 5 of us that were on the night. They want to give us an opportunity to do it and pass money and do it. Yeah, I'm all in. Right. If it turns into that, I think it can. I always think it can, or I still wouldn't be doing it. Right. Facebook's bullshit, and I'll just call it out right here while we're live there. You know what I mean? I don't care, because I got to that point. Too many hurdles, too many problems, too much BS for a platform. Like I told the person, a rep on the phone the other day, for a platform that's built 130,000 plus followers for over a decade, really 7 years of pushing social wise, but been around for over a decade, that we're dealing with problems with you is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't be dealing with it. We're not millions of followers, but you're not giving us a chance to get there, because you're throwing hurdles and hiccups every time we get to certain situations, because I didn't have to spend money. I didn't spend money to get followers. So I just think there's shortcuts, and there's people like ourselves who have grinded it. And there's guys who, like Luke, are going to school for it, doing it the right way, and shouldn't have guys that are getting shortcutted because I played 5 seconds in the league and now I know more than everybody else. No, you don't. You don't necessarily don't. So I just don't like the shortcut guys. Like, if you played a long time, you deserve it, right? Like, you always deserve that opportunity. Brady, Kelsey, I get that. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Even Romo, right? Like, I get it. Yep. But the low-level guys like that, oh, we're going to hire them in town. Like, grow up. Sorry, my rant's over. Fucking face paint. We got Hollywood Productions to talk Eagles. Imagine that. Imagine going through a Hollywood production to talk Eagles too. Oh, he's always been a loser. Every video I ever saw, what a fake. Yeah, I can just snip a fake. You know what I mean? Like, this is the fakest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, who are you trying to be, babe? You know what I mean? I'll leave it there. I got a lot more to say. I have a lot I could say. There's like my vibe. You know what I mean? I'm a vibe cat too. Not right all the time, Mike, but I feel like I'm 90% on the money. On a read. You know what I mean? On a QB option. You know what I mean? If Tom's a QB option reader, I'm a 90%. I'll get it right.
RPO.
Yeah, RPO. You know what I mean? I'm 90%.
Couple of legal men downfield.
And we got to thank everybody too. We got to thank everybody, because I forgot to even say this. Over the week leading up to Christmas, I think 16th to 23rd. 16th to 23rd. Yep. Over 10.2K viewers over here on YouTube. So, I want to thank guys like Don and everybody, even the haters who chime in from other teams. We love you too. But, that's awesome. So you ask why, like, hey, does it work? And does the grind work to people out there? And if you think you're doing it the right way, where you reap benefits here and there, even if it isn't revenue benefits, right? They're there. They're there to keep you grinding. So we appreciate all of you. And, I think we've put together some really good shows, and we've done it a different way. Because I've told other content creators out there, like, you don't want to go build out a network of 1 million shows, dude. It's not what it is. Waters it down. Create a circle of greatness. Nobody listens to me. Hey, we almost essentially invented the streaming online before people even knew what it was. And
we've done it before it was popular.
We're going to go to the less is more, like we're at right now, because I think we're putting on a great production on Wednesday nights too. You know what I mean? I think we're doing great things. So we'll keep it up. I thought we were off air. You know what I mean? We're just talking. You know what I mean? I checked out. Guys, just like you guys know, I checked out 15 minutes ago. I checked out. I ended the stream and we're still going. You know what I mean? But I checked out. I said some things. I gave some love. And I'll say some more things. Fuck the face paint. You know what I mean? If you want to come on and tell me why you face paint, I'm going to tell you I don't got time for it.
How do you have a girlfriend or a wife?
You don't.
45 years old, going to the game with face paint.
You don't. That question's a lot. Listen, we get it. Took a little psychiatry. It's like, I took psych. You know what I mean? I aced it. Just saying. It's like the 101. It was 101, but we aced it. And I could sniff some things. My kid I won't even let my kid take a picture with that. All right? My kid ain't allowed to take a picture with that. There's things you don't let the kid take a picture with. Right?
It ain't the Chick-fil-A cow.
The dog and pony show. Here's Mickey Mouse. Like, go get a picture with Mickey.
The Chuck E. Cheese rat.
Okay. Like, this ain't Swoop. Like, you go get a picture with Swoop. And I know backup Swoop. He's a weirdo. I won't let my kid around him either. All right. But at the end of the day, he's in the mascot costume. Go get a picture. Sorry. I'm just telling you. If you three had kids, you let him get a picture with that.
Philly fanatic? Absolutely.
I'm scared. Why not? Yeah, absolutely. Characters for sure. Not the wannabe character. The guy who couldn't get the real job, so he's going to go on a solo mission for it and try to outshine the real goats, the real grinders. Think about if I'm Swoop. You know what I mean? Or if I'm the fanatic, get this guy out of here. Yo.
What about the Temple Hawks,
here.
dude? Or is it Temple? Who just has to go like this the whole time? I think it's Temple.
St. Joe's.
St. Joe's. Yeah, St. Joe's Hawks. He has to keep his wings moving. Like, you have to. Actually, I don't know how he does it.
What are people going to do to me? Like, oh, Tom's a bad person. You know what I mean? Like, what are the ramifications of me disliking something?
Dude, like the Philly captain, like he's funny, but like, dude, some of the videos are funny, but Netflix documentary is crazy for a guy who sits at the 300 level.
Don't even know who he is. It's my first time hearing of him ever. I don't even.
Oh well, they made a Trey Turner documentary. If you want to watch it,
I'm not locked in like that. I'm not locked in like that.
It's not like that on the Phils.
I was just gonna say they had a Turner documentary on Netflix. It's like 20 minutes, and I thought it was gonna be about more so Trey Turner, and it was about this guy's like depression and mental health and this, that, and the fifth. He made it completely about his story, and it was like 5 minutes of Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what are we watching?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah, like
with all due respect, like, no, I want people to be healthy. I respect mental health. It matters, right? It matters. We all go through our shit. Okay, so it matters. But like, I don't need to. Like, that's what specialists are for, or your best friend, or your close knit circle. It's not for the world. That's always been my opinion on it. That's for your circle. You don't got to go tell everybody. Personal thing. Like, it doesn't mean you don't got to tell people. You should be open. But I don't need to hear it on a daily basis if you're not in the circle, and you don't need a goddamn documentary that's supposed to be about Trey Turner, but it's what somebody else is going through.
Just like, it's like sometimes I'll watch a football game and I'll be like, you know what? Thank goodness Stop Hate is in the end zone. I think that message is getting across. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, we know. Like stop the hate.
Well, it's only because you can't get rid of it, or else they think they're continuing the hate. So you can't get rid of it, or else that narrative will start coming out.
Thank goodness Stop Hate's in the back of the end zone. You know what I mean? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, thank God there's, It's been HCD Wednesday night on a Thursday. we hope even the face painters and you guys out there,
shirtless guys.
Yeah, we hope you guys all had a great holiday. And
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas. All shit talk aside, I
should have got makeup wipes.
With all due respect, I should have opened it with. Because once I say that, I can say whatever the hell I want after, right? And I didn't open with that, and I apologize. But at the end of it, I'll say with all due respect, with everything that was said, keep grinding. But We love you. We love you all. See you next Wednesday. And Eagles.
Maybe Wednesday. Wednesday's New Year's
We
Day.
won't. We won't. We
We,
won't see you next week. We're
Like
live.
you 6-packs next Wednesday, baby.
Yeah, we won't see you next Wednesday.
We'll do it on Thursday again.
I got
Yeah, we got a live Sixers game that night.
I mean, we could do it Wednesday. I mean, I'm down for an
It's
hour.
New Year's Day. It's not like we got to stay up late again.
Oh yeah, it is New Year's Day. Yeah, we could do it Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, it ain't New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Like the Eve, I get the day's the day. Chinese food, a little. Yeah, I mean, not even Chinese food. Sorry, you should be getting some pork. What is it? What do you should be eating? I don't even know. It's too late. Let's get out of here. We'll see you Wednesday.